Since we haven't technically started yet, I can say this. Robbie gave me a great idea.
Yeah.
He was like, well, if you're doing 80s songs and 90s songs on Tifa's piano, Take Me Home Tonight would be it. And I was like, God,
yeah.
what a good one.
God damn, yeah.
Do you think they'd book us at MagFest if we only played Tifa's piano?
Yeah, Tifa's piano band.
Just three of us
are
up
just
there.
doing like shitty piano covers of 80s
Yeah.
songs. Like, no, we're actually a Final Fantasy VII tribute. Fuck off.
Yeah. Think of a thing that's funny to say.
Oh, man.
This is the Every FNFF podcast. I'm your host, Curtis Ware. With me, as always,
Carl Germ.
and
Alex.
we have a guest today.
Yes.
2 guests in a row. And our first one that's not here in the room with us.
The ghost.
It's a ghosts are here in the room with us, Carl.
I have in this room with me a laptop, and I don't know if you know much about these, but they can do amazing things. Like there's this little thing called Skype, and which means we can talk to our friend Justin Taylor in... Where are you right now, man?
I am in Lake Station, Indiana. It is about an hour outside of Chicago.
Awesome.
Is it a ghost town? Achaka!
No, it's called the Big Apple.
Oh, well.
Not really. It's a little redneck town that's kind of right on the border of the state line. So we're, like I said, we're about, an hour outside of Chicago. So we're like essentially the, like if Chicago had southeast suburbs, we would be that, but we're just on the Indiana side. So,
Well, sick, man. Thank you for joining us.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, for listeners at home, Justin Taylor is, I think I would say, the brainchild of the band Night of the Round, and if you're not familiar with them, you should definitely check them out.
The ones who got the moshing ban reversed at MagFest. Because when I played, they were like, stop that right now. And then when Justin's band played, they were like, there's no way we can possibly stop a mosh from happening. We're just going to have to recant.
You just needed the rock
I love MagFest mosh pits. They're like the cutest thing in the world.
Yo, actually, take a couple minutes and tell us about your group.
Couple minutes, oh Lord,
or a minute. We have Corey 1 minute.
Corey
to
had
talk
30
about.
seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, what was your history with the games, and like, how did it somehow transition to like you starting a whole band around it, man? This is like super cool stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of an unconventional path, I guess. I used to play in like a touring metalcore band called Iscariot, and we were, it was like tour after tour. On the road constantly, and I always just found myself like listening to game soundtracks in the van, like
that was dope.
10-hour drives in between stops, and I always found myself going back to the FF7 soundtrack. Actually, kind of just, I don't know, something about it just struck that nostalgia chord like no other soundtrack had at the time. And once the band started to kind of, I guess you can say, die down in about, 2008, 2009. We just stopped touring, kind of became Weekend Warriors again, and eventually just stopped playing altogether. And to kind of keep my musical side, working, I started to create covers of songs from, not just FF7, but
also FF8 and FF9. No,
But every F and FF.
yeah.
I think the first song I actually did was The Landing from Final Fantasy VIII.
God, that song rules
that song's
so
so good.
much. Go
I
ahead.
I learned an interesting fact about that song.
Tell me.
In the demo, that's when you're like going to Dalit, right?
Yes.
In the demo, it was a completely different song that's an unreleased track from Final Fantasy VIII.
Get the fuck
Yeah,
out of
you're
here.
right.
You can find it on YouTube. I never knew that. I've loved 8 for
Really?
over a decade now, and I just found that out the other day, and my mind was
Yeah.
blown.
You know what's so good about it is it plays during that, and you're like, that was a good song. Too bad that will never happen again. And then you have the garden fight, and they do the same one. And it's called The Landing, and the fucking like aerial motorcycles are landing on the fucking garden. What? It's so
That
good.
is like that is the best part of 8, in my
I
opinion.
know.
Anyway, I don't want to talk too much about 8.
Yeah, right. Sorry.
We'll get to next year.
Yeah.
Or no, wait. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows when we'll get to it. Yeah.
That's right.
Yo,
We'll get to it September 3rd.
That remaster is about to drop.
Yo, I at the second, I mean, probably like 2 minutes after they posted about it on Twitter, I hit Carl up and Alex up, and I was like, guys, FF8, it's got a release date, like immediately, just like super stoked about it.
Yes.
Yeah, we're actually we're playing PAX in a couple of weeks, and
Hell yeah.
if we would have known that 8 was going to be released so soon, we probably would have made sure we had an 8 song in the set, but we totally don't.
You guys should cover the extreme.
It's way too late to change the set at this point.
So listeners on the West Coast, I think that's September 1st at the West Paramount Theater in Seattle, right?
Yeah, look at that. Nice work.
I did my homework.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this now, you got a week. Go there now.
Yeah, you
Go.
All right, well let's get down to some effing.
Let's get down to some effing.
Some effing. Hell yeah, man. So where we leave off last time, we were talking to Mr. Coates in his banging trailer
And his fancy coat.
Yeah,
His
I was
fancy
like,
hair.
Yeah, I know. He's got that like perm going on. So good.
He's got a spray tan or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's down there in the prison. I mean, it could be real.
Yeah, it could just be a real tan.
Yeah.
Do you think if he takes that coat off, there's just like the craziest tan lines?
Yeah, I imagine that he has the most like luscious body hair. Like his chest is just like full.
Like Robin Williams level.
Yeah, right.
Rest in peace, Robin Williams.
Rest in
Headmaster
peace,
Sid,
Robin.
rest in peace.
In the Robin Williams could have been Mr. Coates in the remake. If only.
If only.
Yeah. I also noticed that like he's got a nice little like half hole in his trailer, and there's like sunlight streaming in from it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, that's
It's nice. That's where he
rough.
gets his tan.
yeah, that's how he gets his tan.
This game's chock full of holes.
Ooh. Oh. Yeah. So Mr. Coates told us that to be able to leave, we have to have somebody win the Chocobo races, right?
Yep.
And of course, immediately, like I like that Barrett just goes like, "Cloud, you do it."
Yeah.
There's not even like discussion, like in like the one where he climbs up the electric tower or whatever in Genon. Everybody's like, "Who will do it?" And there's a whole scene about it, and like he's just resigned to it this time. Barrett's just like, "You do it. You do it."
I would love to see Barrett riding a Chocobo though.
Who? Oh no, we can't see Barrett. We can see Sid and Tifa riding a Chocobo in this game.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
I'd
Yeah.
love to see the legs on that Chocobo.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta get rid of these little pictures. There we go. So the first thing he does is he suggests that we have to get a manager, right, if we want to go up there and do that. Yeah. So we have a new character come in.
You have to speak to the manager.
Yeah, we have to ask to speak to the manager, right? So we hear a little voice that's like, "Oh, hey, I overheard you talking," and then in walks this girl.
Did somebody say manager?
Yeah, right, yeah. It's like the TV like commercials and like The Simpsons where they're always like perfectly placed,
Yeah.
Like somebody's like, "Oh, I just happen to be a manager."
Or when Big Fat Tony says, "Did I hear the word astronomical?" and walks out from behind the very skinny tree.
So good. But Esther walks in and so she's gonna be our manager, right? And like immediately, first thing Mr. Coates says is just like, "Yo, she may look kind of funny, but but she's a great manager or whatever." And I'm, just like, wow, that's a kind of fucked up.
Yeah, and she does look kind of funny. Like I feel like the way she's dressed is kind of in like the Lolita style.
Oh, really?
I think so. I could be wrong, but she's wearing like a dress with like bows and like a frilly looking dress. And
I took it to be like kind of like camp, like Nashville. Or like the Grand Ole Opry kind of thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But like it
the
could be.
The Kentucky Derby or something.
Yeah.
That probably makes a lot more sense.
Well, I don't know.
I've just been watching a lot of Japanese fashion videos with my girlfriend about the Lolita community and stuff. So,
yo, Justin, did you watch like a YouTube playthrough of this part?
So I actually just played through this game.
Hell yeah.
Maybe a month and a half ago with my girlfriend. She had never played it before.
Oh yeah.
This is probably my 10th time playing it or so. So
okay, yeah.
So to refresh, I did watch some YouTube stuff just the other day, but I have recently completed a playthrough. However, when I did the playthrough, I did it on the Switch, so I was like speeding through all the bullshit. And
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
We're all playing, or not all of it. Like Alex isn't playing it on the Switch,
Yeah.
but the rest of
not
us
doing
are.
really any grinding or
Yeah.
anything like that because we just kind of cheated because we really just want to get through the story. You know.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, of course.
we eventually want to play through more of the games, and
Yeah.
it's like, we don't want to like spend the next 10 years.
right. Yeah, absolutely.
You mean you don't want to stand around grinding 200 battles to get a limit break?
No.
Yeah, but so like,
So with that being said, though, I can't necessarily speak to like who I had in my party or any of that because I literally don't remember.
Yeah, fair
the
enough.
last time I actually played through it, but
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Whatever.
no problem.
fair enough. So after that, we're taking on to the elevator that we were talking about last time, the one that allows you to go up, quote unquote. And so it's Cloud and Esther on the elevator, and she kind of gives us a breakdown of how to ride the Chocobo. Right?
I thought you were about
Yeah.
to say ride the elevator.
How to ride the elevator.
I'm surprised that's not a mini game at this point.
Can you press up, please?
yeah.
Everyone press the up button at the same time.
Oh no, God.
But
I like how they like placed like the set camera angle on that elevator as you're riding it up to like really try to show you how long the ride actually was.
Yeah. And
But,
yeah,
like,
it's several seconds before the elevator even shows up on the
Yes,
screen.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was wondering if I had to hit like A to like progress the dialogue box, and like I didn't because I was like taking notes, and
Yeah.
it was still coming up. It was just taking that long.
Like,
Well,
when
if you think of this game like so far, like there's been quite a few of these scenarios. There was the Junon elevator, which I don't think you actually ride yet in that part of the game.
I think you can.
Right.
Yeah,
you can, but the
can
guard
ride-
at the bottom will tell you to just get back
Oh,
on
right.
it and go
That's
back
right.
up.
That's
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
Then the climbing the Shinra stairs if you took the back entrance.
Yeah.
There's been
Yep.
so many of these scenarios where it's like just endless.
Yeah, right.
So it's almost like they're like running out of like, shit, how do we show how much of a climb this is? Okay, let's just start this screen before the characters are even within,
yeah.
view or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, but she says that she'll talk to Dio directly, and for you to just concentrate on the Chocobo race.
Right. Yeah, and she kind of gives you a little bit of like a breakdown, I guess, not of the history of the games, but she's just kind of like, yo, there are some like you. Some people are riding for money. Some people are riding for fame.
For
or
glory,
whatever.
yeah.
For glory,
I
yeah.
like that she says it's not only for criminals,
yeah.
not
right.
only for smooth criminals like
It's not,
you guys.
yeah. I would say it's not like the real Kentucky Derby, which is only for criminals. But yeah. So she kind of tells us like a little bit of the mechanics of the Chocobo race, right? Which involve either I was gonna say piloting, like riding it or controlling it yourself, or letting the Chocobo do what it wants.
Yeah, it's
right?
either automatic or a stick shift, which is manual.
right. And you can leave it on automatic, but she even says in there, she's like, look, not all of the Chocobos will even be able to pace themselves if you leave it to the computer. Like, you might leave it to the computer, and it will just run out of stamina.
Yep.
Yeah, so you actually have to, like, you may have to take charge of it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, that's kind of neat. It was, like, the first time I did this, playing it again earlier this year, I was like, man, that's an awful lot of responsibility to give somebody who's not even had a practice run at this game yet.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, we get up to the top. We get up to the jockey lounge, I guess. Where all
The green room.
yeah, where all the other Chocobo jockeys are at, and we kind of meet this new character, right? Who like isn't a huge part of the narrative, but is a huge part of like the side quests, like as we go through the end of the game. Yeah, but we meet this guy Joe, right? And so like, what do you think Joe is wearing? Like, it looks dope.
Yeah, it kind of looks like I just assumed like a jockey suit, but he's got like
Is that what
like
is
a
it just
red blazer and like
Yeah.
white pants.
Yeah, and like the blazer's like open, it looks like, and I was just like, yo, this dude is like,
Pimp.
or like yeah, the top of it's open, yeah, and he has like a black like.
Oh yeah, he's
what
got
would
like
you
a
call that? Not like a cowboy hat. It's like,
almost like a fedora.
yeah, with like a yellow band on it. Dude,
Yeah.
like- and he's the only
Yeah.
jockey in this room that will even give us the time of day. Too.
Yeah.
'Cause, like the rest of them are just like, yo, fuck you. And they don't want to talk to us.
Cloud's the freshman going up to the seniors at the lunch table.
Right. Yeah, right. And he I do like that like he has a moment where he's just like, oh, if you're coming up here with Esther, then that means that you, and Esther cuts him off and is like, oh yeah, Cloud's gonna come up here in a race and he's gonna win, you know, he's only been down there a day and he's gonna make it up here. And like I like that Joe just kinda like, oh, all right, well that's cool, you know, and kinda like is just cool with it. And I kinda wonder if that's why like the other jockeys are such dicks. to you because they're like, oh, this fucking murderer just came up here and is going to compete with us.
Or if I feel like everyone's kind of a little bit surprised that you were down there only for one day and now you're there. So it could also be that they're intimidated by you.
Could be. Yeah,
I think Joe like straight up puts his head down when he realizes you were only down there for a day. Like,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, it's like he's like distraught.
Yeah. He says, "Oh, I see," and he puts his head down. Yeah, you're right.
I wonder if that means he was down there at some point.
Right, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That
Damn,
could
I spent
be.
5 years.
That could be. That very well could. Yeah. And he does like he begins to ask why you got put down there.
He's
and
breaking
then,
a prison rule.
Yeah, and he stops himself and he goes, "Oh, we're not supposed to ask about that here," which actually like feels like it lends credence to the idea that he may have been a prisoner at some point. So that's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Caught murdering again.
Yeah, here I go murdering again. But yeah, so after that, like the conversation's kind of over.
Yeah, he's like pretty interesting. I have a feeling that we'll meet again.
Yeah, right. And he leaves the room. So does Esther. And they're like, "Hey, just hang out here until the races begin. We're gonna get stuff set up." And did you guys see the materia?
I did, but I think it's also because you gave me a warning.
Yeah.
I like to think I would have anyway.
Yeah.
But I think the first
I did.
playthrough
Yeah.
that I did, I think I definitely missed it.
So I was playing the game earlier this year to get through it and like plot out where the episode should be, and I absolutely just did not see the remove materia. It went right back. I got like toward the end of the game, and I was like, I do not have all the summons. Like, what did I miss? And of course, it was a one-time missable thing.
This unique room.
Yeah, as soon as you walk out of the room, it's just you just can't get it anymore. You can get it as part of the master summon at the very end of the game, but you can't get it on its own.
Yeah.
I was just like, man.
That's what you get for playing on a little Switch, buddy.
Yeah.
I saw it bright as day in the big ass screen in my living
All
room.
those great big luscious red pixels. Delicious. Also, I like that there's like a bunch of suitcases in the bottom left and then one CRTV.
Yeah.
One CRT TV.
Yeah.
Like one of those old like computer monitors.
Yeah.
Just expect like the flying toasters to be on the screen.
Right.
I love it. Yeah, the suitcase is like so old fashioned, like from like some like mid-century like travel abroad type thing. Imagine these like different tourist stickers, and then there's a CRT monitor from like a computer lab in there.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy's definitely a Twitch streamer.
Yeah. Yeah, so after that, so you kind of like hang around in the room for a second, right?
Yeah, you have to wait. I think like Esther goes ahead, and then I think they call for you, and you try and like leave the room, but you can't yet. You actually have to wait for
all the jockeys to leave first.
Yeah. Which is funny because I was just kind of looking around the environment, and like I wrote a note where I was like, "Oh, if you take too long, Esther comes out and like tells you to hurry up."
Oh, really?
But no, she just does. Like you can't actually leave until she does that.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, so she gives you a chocobo that she picked herself,
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this one should do well or whatever. And that's it. You're ready to race now, right?
Yep.
Like you're pretty much into it. All right, so tell me, how did your guys' races go?
I lost the first time.
So did I.
This ain't my first Chocobo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lost the first time and won the second time.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. The first time I played it, I lost the first time, and this time I won the first time. I was like,
Oh
yeah.
Do you get anything from? Oh my god!
Very loud.
That was very loud. Sorry.
Let me see. Kind of walk us through this mini game. What one of yous?
What? Oh, the mini game.
Yeah, because it's a whole mini game. We can't just skip over the Chocobo race.
Oh yeah.
It's like Rainbow Road.
I'm gonna let it be elective. Who? Would
Yeah,
like
so
to-
it's weird. They say it's like through a virtual course or something, but I
Yeah.
think at another part in the Golds also you can actually see like the chocobos running through. Or I guess they mean more of like the graphics where.
maybe.
But yeah, like Alex said, it's kind of like Rainbow Road from Mario Kart where there's like a bunch of different environments that you can kind of run through, and it's like kind of a standard sort of racing thing. You can keep it on automatic like we mentioned earlier where the chocobo just kind of does things itself. And you have, I think, two options, right? It's to speed up and like slow down.
Speed up, slow down, and sprint.
And sprint, yeah.
What
So-
it doesn't tell you is that if you hold the triggers, you can regain your stamina.
Fuck off. What?
Wait, what?
Oh, I'm looking at
Yeah.
the walkthrough right now. You're right. You can cheat.
Holy
That's
shit.
everybody
God
was before
damn.
you.
Yeah,
Pick the
That
right.
would've been
which
really
is
helpful.
how I won my second race, and I lost my first race because it'd been so long since I played it. I forgot that was a thing.
I had no
I don't-
idea.
I don't know if that's like just a fuck up, like with programming, like if that's like an accidental cheat, or if that's like just there for for people to.
That's some fucking
Just
health recovery and
handicap.
punch out shit.
I don't know, because I feel like it's probably intentional, just given how much chocobo racing you have to do if you want to do a particular thing that is kind of related to your band.
Got
Yeah.
nitro.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like all 4 of the R and L buttons, but it's some of them. So I always just held in all 4 and just said fuck it. And,
I think it just says R1, R2 is all you need.
okay.
That's
I-
awesome.
I had
didn't
no
realize
idea.
that. I might have known that like when I first played through it, because I feel like I just printed out I probably at school just printed out a game facts guide of it or something.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I
yeah.
had that information somewhere. But
The way I was able to beat it the first time, this time, without knowing about the stamina thing or whatever, was with the exception of 2 turns, every turn is to the right. So I was just like, well, I'll just stay on the right side of the course so that I'm taking shorter turns. And like that by itself is enough to win pretty much.
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah,
I know
between-
where the left ones are, so I just cross over.
Yeah, with that and just saving your stamina, like your boost, till like the last little.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and then just smashing it as soon as you see that fucking
Yeah.
gate. Yeah.
Your nitro.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yo, and like the area that you're racing through is really cool. Like I really enjoy the actual race itself.
There's like
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
there's like checkered ramps, giant like Moogle tunnels. My favorite part is the guy in the kayak going over the waterfall.
I know, and he like there's like a virtual waterfall, and you're like running over a bridge through a rainbow, I think, and like there's a dude in a kayak, and like when he gets to the edge of the waterfall, he like freaks out and flails around and goes over the falls. It's so good.
Yeah, like I go from like that, and then like another point in it, you're like in space. with,
It's
like,
literally the next part.
Yeah, like with
as soon
satellites
as you leave
behind
the bridge, you're just in space.
It's got kind of a Katamari Damacy kind of like
Yeah,
Yeah.
energy to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so wild.
Constant chaos and noise.
God, what a good fucking game.
Yeah.
There's like I know that we like there's an implicit like I don't want to say like bias or anything, but like we obviously love the series and everything because we're making a fucking podcast about it. But like, God, man, sometimes when I'm going through this game and really just picking it apart, I'm just like, this game is so fucking good. Like
I can say from like a totally objective point though, like having just recently played through the game, I could say that this is probably the part of the game that aged the worst.
Oh yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Not sure how you guys feel about that, but just in
racing
terms
mechanics.
of just kind of how whack the controls are on the race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
As
hard
opposed to like, you know, the I don't want to spoil it. There's a part later that you can later play in the Gold Saucer, similar to the motorcycle chase that you can play in the Gold Saucer. That I think those scenes actually aged really well. Like
Interesting.
Oh,
I had a lot of fun playing the G bike or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
I enjoy the G bike. I actually like the racing a lot. You might be talking. Well, I don't know which thing
With really cold weather.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that one I hate that one. That's my least
but-
favorite one.
I felt like I was playing like 1080 snowboarding or some shit though. Like
I was just gonna say 1080 snowboarding.
Really, I was
so
always
good.
an SSX tricky guy, and that's why it just doesn't
Oh,
feel
yeah.
right to me.
that's good.
Yeah, I think in at least in terms of like the mini games of the Gold Saucer, I think the Speed Coaster mini game, which we're probably not going to talk about too much today. Is,
Yeah, not until
the mechanics there are pretty rough too.
really.
Yeah.
It's like pretty hard to actually win that one without using like a trick that I just found out about.
Oh, okay.
I was never able to win that. Like I always like failed miserably on it, and I actually did not play that on my most recent playthrough, just because
Yeah.
we were trying to speed through the game. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah.
And just to kind of like reiterate what we've talked about a couple times is like what we're gonna do in the podcast is we're gonna wait until all of the mini games are open and that you're
Right.
able to do everything at the Gold Saucer to really dig into it. So we'll probably have an episode about the Gold Saucer.
Yeah.
later.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So if you don't win your first time, it's like it's no big deal. You don't lose anything. You lose your
Yeah,
time. I
Esther
guess.
says, "Too bad," and that was a tough break.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have that text though. Like.
But she does say she's gonna find a better chocobo for you and to wait there, and then it just like repeats the same thing. So like, since I was still in the green room here,
I wonder if you don't get removed, if you can get it there.
I think you
the second
can.
time because
Yeah,
like the
it's like
first
a-
time I played, I lost, and so I had 2 chances and didn't get it either time.
I love the music that plays when you lose. It's like a really like a minor version of the success.
Yeah,
music.
yeah.
That's a
It's-
really
I
good
think
point.
it's- What is this?
That little resolution.
It's really good.
It's like a sad version of the success music. I love
Yeah. And then I think there's also a little like success jingle that's different than the usual victory fanfare.
it. Oh yeah, it's like a great success. So it's like a chippier version of it.
Yeah, it's like a chiptune kind of.
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll drop that in too. But yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what after that you just go right back to the race.
Yeah, you
Is
just
that
do the
right?
same race again, and maybe your Chocobo has like better stats.
The first time it seemed like when I did it, like when I lost the first time or whatever, it did seem like the second time was far easier. Like it just plowed through the second time.
Yeah, I'm looking at my like victory screen now, and my stamina is like almost replenished.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I actually ran out. I ran out like right before, like a meter before the finish line.
Yeah.
And like if you do run out of stamina during it, the Chocobo like looks all droopy. Like it just starts like
kind of like walks.
it's barely like shuffling along. Yeah, and it just goes like really, really slow.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so
But,
sad.
Yeah. But I won in that state. Damn it! So
That's awesome.
across that finish line. But yeah. So after you win, you're given a letter, right? Esther basically congratulates you on winning, brings you a letter, and it's from Dio.
Our good friend.
Kono wa Dio da. And he
Boy,
says,
if you're reading this letter,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you must have won.
yeah, my boy, I say it, my boy. And he says he heard about Dine from Esther, so everybody knows what happened or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess they at least know the part about you killed him.
Yeah.
Probably not the part about the drama that
Right.
unfolded.
I
Yeah.
heard Don went to a ranch upstate.
Yeah.
That's real shit about that.
And they give you a full pardon and set you free. And I like that he says, as a way of apology, I have a little gift for you to use on your journey, which seems to imply that he knows that he falsely accused you.
You think?
Or why would he
mean,
give us an apology?
Yeah, I guess he.
Yeah.
I guess he would. Yeah, that's a good point.
I wonder if when he says I heard about Dine, if that includes Dine killed all those people.
Yeah,
But how would anybody know that? Because as soon as we got to the prison, we killed him. He was off by himself.
yeah.
So we just came back and we're like, hey, Dine shot everybody. And
He's
they're
like,
like,
"Hey, I
what
heard-"
proof do you have? Well, we killed Dine, and so he can't defend himself. Like, good enough for us.
They checked the holotapes.
We heard about that guy with the gun arm who's been living underneath this amusement park for years.
Yeah.
And we're sorry we blamed you for who just showed up.
Yeah. Oh, Lord. Anyway, yeah.
I like the last part of the letter.
I
where
know.
He
It's so
says,
good.
sorry I couldn't be there to tell you this in person, but I'm a very busy man.
Yeah.
Sincerely, Dio.
So good.
Best part of the letter is coming up.
You got a gift.
Yeah. So, oh man, you guys, I thought of a great joke and I didn't use it at the beginning of the podcast, and I'm really disappointed in
damn it.
myself. So I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna redo the whole beginning of the podcast. You ready for this?
Yes.
I'm gonna retcon the part where I say, wait, how did I introduce Justin? Did I say joining us by phone?
No.
I don't remember. Whatever.
I introduced it by my explanation of how the internet works.
Just imagine that we went back in time and I said coming to us through PHS.
Hell yeah.
That would have been so much better. I thought about it and I was like, I'm going to text Carl and Alex to remind me to say that. And I didn't because I didn't want to spoil the joy.
I'll just superimpose you saying PHS over me saying Skype.
Do it as like you trying to emulate my voice and then saying it.
Or just
This
like
is Curtis.
or just afterwards a really strained, obviously like post-production version of Curtis saying it, like, and now joining us.
Yeah, and now joining us by PHS is Justin.
We got
There
it.
we go. We got it.
Put that one in.
Alex, make that entire bit funny.
Yeah, make it. Yeah, we're trusting you to make our podcast funny. Yeah. So
So Justin, you were saying that
yeah, the best part.
the best part of the letter.
Oh yeah, where he he gives you the buggy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Eris
Yeah.
calls us on the PHS, which is what made me think of
Yeah.
it. And she's like, "Yo, this is great. The assistant manager stopped by and dropped off a quote unquote buggy."
We got a new whip.
and then I like the next line a lot because she says, "We can now go over quote unquote deserts and quote unquote rivers, no problem." And I was like, "There's no need to put quotes around that. Those are just deserts and rivers."
Said it with a coy wink.
Especially
Now we can go over desserts.
Yeah, desserts and rivers.
especially because like from a game design standpoint, like there's been points where important places or things have been in a different color font.
Yeah.
So like it could have just
yeah,
been
yeah,
like
where it's like really like if you don't know where to go at this point, like
yeah.
you have never played a video game in your life.
The ancients spoke of rivers.
It's what the ancients call a souvenir.
Oh, and the PS of Dio's letter, because he adds a
Yes,
little postscript
yes.
on it.
Real
Yeah,
good.
He goes, "Oh, by the way, I met Sephiroth. I bet he's pretty popular with boys your age. Why don't you go get his autograph?" He was heading toward Gongaga, south of the river. And I love the idea that, like, because, like, you know, like, when we met Dio, we didn't, like, talk to him or introduce ourselves or anything. He just started going off and talking about how he was Dio. And so I imagine, like, Sephiroth walking through, like, getting ready to leave, and, like, Dio does the whole spiel where he's like, "I'm Dio, I own all of this place," and, like, Sephiroth's just, like, walking by, and he's like, no, wait, like, please talk to me, please listen to what I have to say.
And then Sephiroth is like, "I am heading towards Gongaga, south of the
South
river,"
of the river, yeah.
in blue text.
And I'm like, no matter how Sephiroth decided to take that interaction, whether he, like, responded or just walked on by, I love the idea that Dio was just like, "What a cool motherfucker." What a good dude. I love that dude. I bet all the boys are all about him.
What a hunky dude.
Yeah.
Don't you get letters from your grandma like, "Oh, I just bumped into your friend Sephiroth the other day.
Yeah.
What a nice boy."
What a nice boy.
It's also some
He
slight.
came in and burned the town down. What a good boy.
It's also some slight shade on Cloud because Dio still has never called him Cloud.
Yeah.
Like, he
yeah.
starts the letter
Your
with
boy.
Like,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
I threw you and all your friends in prison for something
Yeah,
you
yeah.
clearly didn't do.
This other guy, I learned
This
his
dude
name.
Sephiroth,
He was
though?
cool as shit. But you know, I bet all you loser kids like love that dude. Yeah.
Well, last you talked to him, he thought you knew Sephiroth. Like, "Oh, do you know him? He's the other cool guy with the sword."
He thought that we knew him because we are the same age.
And I don't think he dropped Sephiroth's name. He was just like, "Oh, another boy around your age."
Yeah, so he saw him again. Like, he's seen him another time since then.
I'm starting to pick up a little something, or maybe some.
Are you thinking that
always a bride.
Sephiroth was really me, Dio?
I was thinking always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Everyone's seeing Sephiroth except for us. Except for that one time.
Yeah, so, like, right after that, right? I guess Esther gives us a goodbye too, and says, you know, if you ever get your own Chocobo, come on back, right? And then we're, like, immediately just teleported outside the gold saucer. We're at the base of it, and we have a sick fucking dune buggy.
It's so good.
What?
Just like in Mass Effect.
So good. Oh yeah, my old roommate Alex used to refer to it as sick moon car. When he played Mass Effect, he'd be like, "Yo, I can't wait to get to the next sick moon car stage."
This moon car are sick.
This moon car are sick. Yo, let's talk about Grand Horn.
What?
Grand Horn.
Oh, Grand Horn, yeah.
Grand Horn. It's an enemy in
Oh.
this area.
Oh, is it the bulldozer dude?
It's this guy.
No, that's not him. Sorry, I just met him
I was
last
thinking
night.
I was thinking of a different ridiculous
He's like a
enemy.
bone.
Oh, yeah.
A
Motherfucker
bony-
can punch the ground and do like half of your fucking health. It's sick.
He's like a bony golem, right?
I just like.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna give you a real Curtis fact right now. Are you ready for this?
I'm so ready.
You ready for this? I think golems are fucking cool as shit.
They're absolutely cool.
Yo.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Like when I'm like, oh fuck, it's like a stone bio golem.
Or
like, that's
clay.
Just, yeah.
Oh wait, he's like a dinosaur ogre thing. I don't know who this guy is. He looks
Whatever.
pretty
It
cool.
looks fucking rad as shit.
Bipedal dinosaur. That's pretty cool.
Does a lot of damage and it's gnarly as fuck. Okay, that was what I wanted to say. Your turn.
He's yoked.
He is yoked.
So where are we right now in relation to the saucer?
We are
We
in
just
the
left.
gold saucer area.
Okay.
No, we're actually in the desert, like
Oh
Yeah.
right.
right outside of the base of it, the one that we couldn't get through because of all the quicksand.
Yeah, now we can.
Yeah.
Indeed.
As Aerith said, we can cross deserts.
Quote unquote deserts.
You could also drive the buggy right back into the gold saucer, and it puts you in the
Into the-
desert.
Yeah, into the desert where you have
Area.
to like go through and
And
find the chocobo
dine and
carriage.
shit.
Yeah,
Get
Oh,
the fuck
weird.
out. Does it really?
it does. Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
trying to get back to just that area, or just get back to Coral to see if I missed anything.
What's worse, Gold Saucer or Philadelphia parking?
Oh God, definitely Philadelphia.
I haven't seen any
Depending,
parking at
Center
Gold
City,
Saucer.
absolutely.
There's not enough room in Philly, and there's too much room.
There is.
in.
I have
in
not
Gold
seen
Saucer.
any evidence of a PPA anywhere in Final
That's
Fantasy.
a good point.
So
Do they have parking police over where you are, Justin?
No, man, I forgot you guys were in Philly. The last time we played in Philly, no, it was 2 times. Sorry, it was like a few years ago. We did TMG and like we stayed at Avery from X Hunter's house.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
And oh my god, I forgot how fucked up your parking was.
Ah.
Like cars like parking in the middle of streets and shit. Like that's
Yep.
Did you
literally only a thing in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Did you guys have like a van with you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah.
In South
50
Philly, that's hard to find a spot for.
Dude, I can never
15
find it. Like,
passenger. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, that's the rough.
Yep.
Did anybody see the little house on the peninsula?
Yes. Yes,
Little
I did.
tiny house where you can't do anything
Yet.
yet.
So
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize I was so close to Calm. And then I went across and I was like, this isn't Calm at all. Like the icon on the world map
Yeah,
looks very,
very
similar.
It's like the same style of house.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we just go in and then there's just a house that Cloud walks in and says, "No one's here. I'll come back later."
Did you see the harpy enemy in the desert while
I
you
did
were?
not.
Because something that I made note of, which I think is different in Final Fantasy VIII, which is why I was kind of surprised by it. When you're driving in the buggy, you still get random encounters.
Yeah, I think the encounter rate goes down, does it not?
Maybe that could be it.
It very well could be. It seems like it seemed that way to me, but
you are moving faster, so like your kind of sense of perspective of how frequently you are is different.
Could be.
You're covering more ground, but they still feel as frequent.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
In timing wise. Oh god, the harpy. That's like a weird.
Yeah, the harpy's like a weird like
Griffin-y Chimera thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a bull with like a snake for a tail.
I think
and,
it's
like,
pronounced Chimera.
Chimera. Chimichanga.
The Chimichicha. I don't know that.
But yeah, no, that thing almost got me a game over, and I was like, I have not saved in a while.
That thing does brutal HP, man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
800.
yeah.
Oh, this is
you
what
also it can do Aqualung to you, which if you have enemy skill on,
That
you
is
can
weird as fuck looking.
you can learn Aqualung from it as well. You can't manipulate it, but you can.
You learn how to play the whole thing on flute. Yeah.
I love it.
I'd say that Aqualung is like top 5 enemy skills also.
Yeah, so it's basically
definitely worth getting.
It's in the enemy skill list. It's directly next to Beta, which is what you can learn from the Midgar Zalem if you're a tryhard like me who learned that before moving on. And it's like it's the same sort of attack. I think it takes like 1 more MP to use, but it does water damage instead of fire damage.
Which, you know what? If you're not a tryhard like Carl, now might be a good time to go get it.
Yeah,
because you're probably fine now to go fight that guy.
Yeah, and you can backtrack to areas because when Era says you can.
Okay, I did this later, but let's talk about it now.
Okay,
let's talk about backtracking.
When Era says that you can go over rivers, there's certain parts of rivers that I think I mentioned in a previous episode where it's like a lighter shade of blue, where you can actually just drive over that with the buggy because it's like a shallow.
Yeah.
Yep. And one thing you can do is drive it right into Costa del Sol and put it on the fucking ship and take it back to Junon and then have the buggy over there.
Whoa.
Yeah. So one thing I noticed when you go into Junon, and this is what I talked about this in the episode or whatever, and I was like, what is happening here? And I think I get it now, and I think it's far less ridiculous than I was thinking originally. But if you go back into Priscilla's house, when you go back to Junon, like, you know how you were saying, Alex, that you can climb up onto like her bed from the ladder or whatever?
Right.
So she's up there, and if you go talk to her, she'll say, "No, stop it, ... And then there's like another ... And if you talk to her again, she goes, "Don't touch me, ... And if you do it again, she goes, "That tickles Mr. Dolphin." And I was like, she's having a dream about the dolphin.
Yeah. When I first read the things, I was like, is Cloud just there tickling this girl?
Yeah,
like, that's
me too.
Real weird.
I was like, this is fucked.
I was like, I don't like this. I don't want to do this.
Yeah. So,
but yeah,
good.
she's having a dream about Mr. Dolphin.
So let's talk about the miner in the cave.
Yeah.
Because I know you did it.
Yeah.
And made a great tweet about it.
Yeah, so this is something that if you're playing along, you might want to do because this is getting into the territory of like missable items, I think.
So,
kind of.
Let's say
you should do
spoiler 0.5. Like, this is not a spoiler because everybody on God's green earth knows it. However, there's the possibility that certain aspects of the game won't be around forever. So yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So there's this like cave that you can find when you go back to Junon. Or like the Junon area.
It's like northeast.
Let me see.
Of it. Basically, you head east, and then there's a river to the north of you, and you cross that. And
exactly. And there's like if you need help finding it, just go to Google.
Yeah, or goes straight
Go-
north from the Phoenix Tower.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, the Fort Condor.
Yeah.
I did that last time, too. Sorry, continue.
But yeah, when you go in there, there's just a guy in a cave in like a nice little setup who's just sleeping. And he'll give you just some facts about like your game where you, how many battles you've been in.
Yeah.
So the trick here is you need to come back when the last 2 digits of the battle numbers that you've been in are the same number, and you get a different item for if they're odd or even.
Yeah.
So the number that I was at like 303.
Yeah.
So I had to get to 311 or 311.
Yeah.
while I was there. So if you don't have like the exact number that you need to get an item, just walk out, have as many battles as you need, and then go back in and talk to him. And if you have the odd number, then he gives you a mithril item.
Yeah.
And
What's
if you
the even one?
the even is like it's like a water ring or a bolt ring, I think.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
So it's like the same sort of thing as the fire ring, where it just nullifies bolt damage.
My first playthrough, I had a number that was like ending with like 12, and I was like, God damn it, I have to sit here and do fucking 21 battles to get the fucking mithril. And this time, walked in with a fucking 2 odd numbers on the end, and I was like, yes!
I was like, damn, I really need to grind up to 420 to get a stupid tweet that gets 7 likes.
I was thinking today, I was like, when we do FF8, I'm going to... Wait, can you rename Squall? Yeah, you can rename Squall, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't rename anybody else.
You have to rename him Leon.
Well, I was going to rename him Tom DeLonge and then do 182 damage.
Oh,
Blink 182.
nice.
Anyway, never mind. It was going to be entirely not worth it.
That's okay. I just made a Kingdom Hearts joke.
Topical
so
reference. Did you see that new Angels and Airwaves video?
I sure did.
Oh,
I
boy.
sure did.
What? No.
Oh, man. Okay,
It's pretty cringy.
I think it's... Okay, here's the
I
thing.
hate using that word, but it was.
We're going to... A slight divergence into pop culture. Lord, this is not a thing we... Anyway. So, Blink 182... Singer, yeah, Tom DeLonge.
Yeah,
DeLonge?
singer guitarist.
Yeah, has another band. They released a song today with a video, and it's like a dude gets friend zoned and then carries out violence against.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And here's the thing. Here's what I'm gonna say about it. I don't think Tom DeLonge is a monster. I don't think that he was like purposefully trying to make some political statement. I think it was just tone deaf. I think they were like, oh, you should. I would never say this to any other individual in the world, but maybe you should actually read your social media a little bit more and like see what is going on in
That
the
dude's
world.
43 years old. He should know better, but also not be making
Yeah, but he's still making
videos about
songs
being
for 15-year-olds.
Yeah. Like
cool dudes on motorcycles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, so that was the thing. FF8, September 3rd. Woo!
Don't name Squall Leon.
Yeah, don't do it. But do name Griever hot dogs.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. There's like a speed running tradition that I've seen. Yeah.
That's very good.
What were we talking about? Oh, we're talking about the man in the hole. No, the other man in the hole. The cave.
Yeah, I think
I'm the man in the hole. Boom, boom, ba-da-now. Sorry, what?
I don't even know where we are in this.
Oh,
game.
wait. No,
I know
actually,
we've ruined everything. This is
I actually do have some other screenshots. After you get the item
of different cool numbers.
of different Angels and Airways videos.
Yeah.
No, so after you get the items from him, he'll like continue murmuring in his sleep, which is like what he when you walk in and talk to him, he's sleeping unless you have that one of the numbers that you need. But when you talk to him, he says large materia needs high level materia ... and then he's just saying that like while sleeping, like between Z's.
Who is this guy? How does he know all these things?
I don't know.
Well, there's a big old sniff. Yeah, so anyway, so out of curiosity, so I actually, like I said, I did this last in my playthrough for today. So I didn't try to go back to the house. Can you do that now?
So which house?
The house on the...
Yeah, no, I did, because another, I guess, kind of spoiler, you need to bring the key item that you got to that house at some point to get an item later.
Can you do it now? Or?
No, there's still
Okay,
no one there
no.
and you still walk away. You can go back to, like, old towns, though. Like, I made note that in Coral, if you go back there, none of the dialogue has changed. So even though everything, like,
Yeah,
Barrett
has
had his whole
contextually changed.
redemption thing, like nothing has changed there. In Costa del Sol, there is some slight changes in dialogue. Most notably, one of like the beach babes that's there asks you to like put suntan lotion on her.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go back and talk to everybody. I should have done that. Sorry, go ahead.
Is Hojo still at Costa del Sol when you go back? Because I did not do that in my most recent playthrough.
No, so he actually takes off while you're in there, like to progress.
Oh, that's
the
right.
story.
That's right.
Yeah, it'd be funny if he was just back there.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I thought you left.
He didn't stay there. He like left and then returned.
Waited for you all to boogie
Taking
out.
another vacation.
Yeah.
He's just squatting in President Shinra's old villa.
You know what's funny though is like, so like I said, I just played this game recently and it didn't register in my head that Hojo is no longer part of Shinra, and like that makes a lot of shit that happens later in the game wild.
Yeah.
Just buck wild.
He's
Yep.
gone rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like there are some scenes where he'll show up later, and I was just like, oh yeah, because of course he would be here. He's Shinra, and I never thought about that. Like, no, wait, he quit.
Yeah.
It's crazy that he's here. He's a real motherfucker.
There's only one or two lines of dialogue, I think, that actually reference the fact that he quit. It's like kind
Yeah.
of subtly thrown
Yeah.
into the
Yeah,
the, dialogue.
They like mention it in passing because Heidegger is like, oh, like he's like freaking out because Hojo put in his resignation, and that's like another thing that he has to deal with now.
Right,
Is like
right.
tracking him down.
Yeah. So I guess like at this point, are we pretty much ready to go into Gongaga?
Well, we're still circling, right?
Yeah, if we have other things that we've done outside, let's do that now.
I mean, I don't know. There's some really fun, weird enemies like the touch me.
Yeah.
Excuse me? How am I like some things I see a lot about and like other things I just completely miss. So please tell me.
Do you know what the touch me enemy
I
is?
don't.
It's the frog. And,
Yeah.
And if you touch
Oh,
it,
yeah, yeah.
you turn into a frog.
Love it.
Now when it says touch me, like I think I used a move with Tifa
Yeah.
and she didn't turn into a frog, but if he touches you, he turns you into a frog.
Okay.
I also tried to
Oh.
use a maiden's kiss on him and it didn't do anything. I was like, what if he just turned
How
into like
wild would that be?
that would have been awesome.
If it like turns him into a dude. Oh
and
my
it's like
God.
not outside of like the mechanics of most Final Fantasy games because a lot of like enemies will have like a secret, like you can use an item on it to
Yeah.
get a secret effect.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I guess we haven't run across frog yet in the game, have we?
Not really. I think sometimes it shows up in the forests.
Yeah, I think there might have been a point where you could get turned into a frog, but I don't remember offhand.
So
Yeah, he's only in this area.
Like we've had maiden kisses,
yeah,
which cures that status ailment.
every night.
Oh yeah.
You could get that really whack enemy skill from said frog, I think.
Oh really? Which enemy skill?
Shit, I forgot what it was called, but I think it's like
frog
a frog
song. Frog song.
spell.
Frog song
Yeah,
from Chrono
yeah.
Trigger. Bum, 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 bum,
Yeah.
bum, bum.
So yeah,
Speaking of enemy skills, though,
Yeah.
Big Guard, anybody?
Yes, I actually meant to bring that up because I brought it up on like 3 other episodes at the wrong time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it was my fault. Yeah,
we can finally get Big Guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have the manipulate materia. We have the area we can go.
The beach
find somebody
plugs.
out. Yep.
And you can finally use Big Guard on your party and get that amazing enemy skill.
Yep. Absolutely. If I'm not mistaken, I believe one of the owl creatures near the hole, the little mine where the guy is, you can get white wind from them, if I remember right.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Which I actually base that more off the fact that those owl creatures do white wind in all the other Final Fantasies, so I'm assuming they do in this one too.
Gonna do a quick Google here.
Yeah. Okay, while you do that, I'm gonna explain frog.
Vamp.
Yeah. Okay. So the status frog, right? We haven't seen that. I mean, like we said, there may have been places we could see it in the game thus far, but I haven't run into it yet until this point. So yeah, when one of these frogs punches you, and there's multiple enemies that can do it. I think the frogs are mostly the ones who do it though, like because there's different kinds of frog enemies in the game.
Yeah.
But they hit you, and you literally like shrink down and turn into a little hopping frog, right?
Yeah, and
like you just have no attack power.
Yeah.
Whatsoever
No
during
attack
it.
power. You can't use like any materia stuff. You can still use items, which is nice.
Yeah,
So you can actually use an item to like reverse that status ailment.
Right, and you're still alive, so you
Yeah.
can run if you want.
Yeah, you can run and you'll still get experience. It's not like petrify or something like that.
Right,
Like,
right. So it's like you're not dead, but you're fucking useless.
You're a frog.
You're a frog. You're useless, just like real frogs.
Yes, you can learn that from the Zem Zealot.
Yeah, I was right.
Good call.
Yeah.
I'm really curious if like there are circles in towns who like lick touch me's just so they can turn into a frog.
Oh, absolutely.
What else?
Other
what else
weird
we got?
enemies,
Yeah.
which is a really cool. This sounds like a cool genre. Flap beat.
Flat beat.
It's like
That
a
does sound
pterodactyl. It sounds like a pterodactyl. Yeah, it's like a weird pterodactyl thing. It's kind of like a dragon.
There's also an enemy that's just named Spencer. Like it's a little
Spencer.
rich yuppie kid.
So good.
Oh, it's a weird. Oh, it looks like Gyarados. Okay.
Gyarados. You fight Gyarados here. You can fight Granglans on the beach.
Yep,
That's a big one.
that's a throwback.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit, nothing better than a Grangalan. The only thing better than a Grangalan is a relaxing beach Grangalan.
Yeah,
And
and the junior.
Well, it's got, the kids have been driving it nuts all fucking year long for during the school year. It was like, it's time to finally get out of the house and go do something nice. And then you murder all of them.
Then you use what is it? The
Match your magic.
Match your magic
Yeah.
and kill them all.
Yeah, at once.
To farm them for limit breaks.
Yeah.
So that's that's the where we are. We're the gold sauce area onto the Gongaga
Yeah.
area.
So the next part of the critical path is to go across the river, like to the continent that we haven't been on yet.
Right.
And when you go, we already mentioned there's that little that little house that's on the coast, but you can keep going there and you'll see a structure that's.
What would you say it looks like? It's like you can tell there's like a reactor kind of on the outside. It looks like a big a circular ruins.
Yeah.
And all of like the buildings and the I guess the city planning or whatever. It looks like it like emanates out from a center point.
Yeah.
Right. But it looks like a ruin.
Yeah.
And much like we've been talking about every time we see a Mako reactor, there's forest around it, but as soon as you get close enough to it, it's just this structure. It's just ruined. Yeah. But since that's the next section of the thing, I think this would be a good time to head to the inn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Oh, is that our sleepy?
That's sleepy time.
The inn. Okay.
Hit the blue button. And back.
That was the THX logo.
Yeah. So, we're in Gongaga, baby.
Are we?
Baby.
It's jungle.
Yeah.
You're in Gongaga, baby. You're gonna die. Is it
Spoiler
the
alert.
jungle?
It's just called
yeah,
jungle.
so there is
Really?
there's the whole
Well, we're not.
I figured the
we're
whole
not-
area was Gongaga. I get maybe not.
No.
Yeah, when you first walk in, it takes you to kind of like a couple of like a little path.
Yeah.
I see. The way I always interpreted these sections, because the area is not really large, right? I think there's only like 5 screens or something.
Yeah.
I always interpreted it kind of as just like these are because the place is in ruins. So I kind of interpreted that this is just not even the outskirts. It's like just the road going into it, right? Like a little like a perpendicular road.
It's kind of there's some woodsiness kind of surrounding the area, either from just reclaiming after supposed disaster or.
Yeah, I kind of took it more as like it was a jungle, and then there was this like town within the jungle, and then as we'll find out, Shinra comes in,
right.
and but the name of the place, if you like hit your menu button, it is just jungle.
Really?
You are
Okay.
in the jungle, baby.
And you're gonna
You're gonna die.
That's why
Someone's here and they say you're gonna die.
So that's why I think I accidentally missed this whole section when I played the wrong side. So I went like, well, this is the jungle. Then I went to the reactor and I'm like, this is the reactor. And and they accidentally went off the wrong side of the screen.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, I guess that's it. That's all that's here.
That's the one thing. This area does not have like great indications of where to go or what to do. It's not very large.
Yeah.
But like, there's no reason that you should believe that one direction leads you outside and one direction leads you to another very similar looking path.
Yeah.
Like jungle path, right? So like that is true. Like when you told me that you hadn't done it, I was like, that's entirely believable. Like I can entirely believe that.
I think I played all of the what do we call it? Cosmo Canyon, thinking that was Gongaga.
You're like, wow,
yeah, this sounds like
yeah.
Gongaga. Like the music is like, yeah, it sounds kind of jungly.
It sounds Gongagish.
No, so the music that plays in Gongaga is just the intro of Bad Romance by Lady Gaga.
Oh yeah.
I get
all
it.
you
I get
hear
it.
is Radio Gongaga.
Rio Gon blah blah. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, like, Carl, give us a description of kind of like this area, I guess.
So yeah, you
that we're in.
you walk into the aforementioned jungle, and like Curtis was saying, there's just kind of a path. It splits off into two ways, and I think when you walk in, do we instantly hear the Turks theme?
You don't instantly hear it. You first get Cloud just says, "Is someone there?"
And then it pans over.
And then we get it. Yeah.
Whoa.
This is probably the funniest Turks encounter, at
Oh
least
my
at this point of the
it's
game.
so
It's
good.
fucking hilarious.
I love it so much.
I know.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Hey, Rude. What do you think? A princess and a guy like me?
But yeah, so we pan over and Reno and Rude are talking to each other. They're the only ones there, right? The rest of the Turks are not to be found. And Reno says, "Hey, Rude, who do you like?" And like, so like we're like in the middle of a conversation that they've been having, right?
Yeah.
And Rude just like turns around and Reno's like, "What are you getting so embarrassed about? Come on, who do you like?" And like, even like when I first played this, and I think like every time I still play it, I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. Like, what are they saying?
What
And-
bands are you into, man?
Yeah. Who do you like? Well, I'm a fan of.
Five Finger Death Punch.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Rude is definitely a 5-finger death.
Or he's Mr. Worldwide. He's Pitbull.
That's true.
But I like it. Rude just says ... Tifa.
Yep.
Like that's so good.
And then Reno just goes, yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Which, like, is it a tough one that he's like, I don't know who I like? Or is he like, I don't know how I feel about Tifa?
I took it as like, I took it more as him being like, oh man, that's a tough one that you like this person that like we're at odds with. Like, they're the rival faction.
How many interactions has Rude had with Tifa at this point, do you think?
That's a good question.
There's
I
the
probably should have thought about that.
There was like the imprisonment scene is probably the first time we maybe bump into them, right?
Yeah.
And then every time
Well-
we've seen them after that, they haven't fought us. They just kind of like taunt us or make fun of us and then leave.
That's hazing. That's what boys tell you they like you.
No,
right?
no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say that there's always the chance that there were like, some interactions prior to the events of the start of the game, right?
True.
It could be. Now, see, I was thinking that, and I was like, well,
Does she have a
I want to say
reputation?
that Avalanche is like, I guess they're known because they know that they're from. No, they didn't know that they were from Sector 7 slums until
Oh, that's true.
Corneo
Until the
said
end, yeah.
something. Yeah. Interesting. Oh yeah, and I guess there was the one on the tower too. Like,
Yeah.
Reno might have a hard time of being like, I'm gonna go hang out with Tifa after I, was the one that blew up the pillar and killed all of her friends and acquaintances. And that might indeed be a tough one.
I was just going to say that.
So
Yeah, but,
and then go ahead.
But Reno's like, oh, poor Elena.
I know.
She, you, and
and then Rude goes, no, she like sang. And like I love it that everybody, like, these dudes are just like,
we got some real slumber party action going
I know,
here. Like,
I know. And it's so like low level too, to where it's not like these aren't actions that anybody has done or anything. It's not like, ooh, I saw
Right.
Elena and Sing making out or something. Like,
Yeah.
they're just like, oh, this person likes this person or whatever. I think they like you, like it's very like
Yeah, very high
elementary
school.
schooler,
Yeah.
like Valentine's Day kind of thing.
I'm imagining him in high school all wearing suits at the lunch table.
yeah, those kids who wear suits.
Well, like
to
what?
high school.
Everybody in this game is like 20 years old. I mean,
It's true.
they could
That's
be
what I
high
was going to
schoolers.
say. Yeah, they're all like late teens, early 20s.
Yeah. So, God, what a
Yeah,
fucking
but-
what a group! I love every time the fucking Turks are on the screen. It's,
This entourage is
But
great.
to further complicate this little love triangle that's forming, Reno said,
I know.
I never knew that, but Sang likes that ancient.
oh no! It's
Sang likes older women. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, he's not talking about Eris. Yeah. Oh my God, that's so good. And I'm with Cloud on the next scene where he
Yeah.
like pans over and he's like, "What are they talking about?"
I love that.
Wait, can he hear them?
Yeah, is he
rather-
able- yeah,
I think
go-
it's funnier if he can't hear. Like, what do you think they're talking about?
Yeah. They're talking about us. They're gonna get us. Yeah, he doesn't know. He's like paranoid.
Yeah. And then as he's saying that, Elena walks up behind him
Yeah.
and she says, it's so stupid. They always talk about who they like or don't like, but Sang is different.
I know. She gives them shit immediately for talking about who they like.
It's like so stupid and juvenile.
Oh,
but
walking
Sang-
behind him,
would
you mean
say-
Cloud? She walks from behind Cloud and like not even like regarding that he's there. Like
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, and I love, because like she makes fun of them for like talking about who they like, and ends that statement with like, "But Sang is different." Yeah, like you're saying, yeah, it's so good. God, Elena's such a good character.
She's great.
I love her
She's
so
awesome.
much.
But then she kind of realizes.
Yeah,
what's
she
going on.
realizes who Cloud is. She goes, oh no.
Yeah. And she runs over and she lets them know like, oh, they're here. They're really here.
They're really here. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you know.
I like there's a bit where Reno says, "Rude, don't go easy on them. Not even the girls."
Yeah,
He
yeah.
says, "Don't worry, I'll do my job."
Yeah. And then immediately Elena's like, good, we're counting on you. I'll go report to Sang. Yeah.
Gee.
These fucking, I love them so much. I
Yeah.
love all of the Turks. They're so good.
Yeah, so you get a selection that you can like choose what to say.
Yeah.
So Reno says like, "Oh, it's payback time now. It's been a while. Payback for what you did in Sector 7."
What did you say?
I think I said Sector 7 question mark.
I said out of my way.
Yeah, what does he say when you say out of my way?
He just says, I don't like being taken for a fool.
Yeah, if you say Sector 7, he just goes, "That's sad."
Yeah.
And then they say that's as far as you go, and it
Yep,
starts a
that's the
battle.
thing there, yeah. So we get into a battle with Reno and Rude.
Yeah.
Right? And so we did this is the first time I think you and I have ever messaged each other and been like, hey, who are you taking into this area? You
Yeah.
know, who are you fighting with? So what was your party here?
So for this fight, it was Cloud, Aerith, and Barrett, but I did switch out Aerith for the next area.
Okay. All right. Cool.
What about you, Justin?
I think, like I said, I played this like a month and a half ago or so. I think I was in like a Red 13 kind of
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
phase.
I had
so he
a-
was always my
Yeah.
He's a good
I had
go-to.
Yuffie and Eris.
he's
yeah.
a good boy.
Nice.
Yeah, Red is
Real
awesome.
good boy.
Because the Red's so good. I actually had Red in the party, and then when I went to the scene, I was like, well, I'm going to take him out and put Eris in here for now or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did have Red. Because I was like, you know what? I'm going to take characters that I feel like maybe most people don't always have with them.
That's a good
So
idea.
like, I think like when we get another character later, I'm probably just going to play with that character in Yuffie for like the rest of the game and just see how it goes. And
Yeah.
be like,
Donald Duck.
when we get Donald Duck.
Gross.
Yeah. So yeah, so we get into this fight.
I think the battle itself is pretty standard. Like
They can dish out a little bit of HP.
yeah,
So-
I was definitely like over leveled here because for a while I was just kind of farming up limit breaks.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
I don't really have any notes on like anything. It's the same sort of thing. Like I think you can get that pyramid thing on you.
I don't
again.
think he does the pyramid here.
I don't
I
know.
didn't get the pyramid. I don't think he does it. He does like a projectile attack that's probably the most damaging
Yeah.
thing in the fight. I like it. Reno. The only thing that Rude does is he just does this launch punch where he just like runs across the screen and just decks you in the
That's
face.
so good.
And like your character like flips end over end and like lands on their back. It's so good. He's
That's
just
incredible.
Gunk and
Yeah.
fucking ganks you. But you only have to beat one of them to win the fight. You don't
Right.
actually have to damage the other one.
Reno says, "We may be retreating, but we're still victorious."
Fuck off, Reno. Whatever.
That's usually how that works.
Yeah, right. And I like it when so you beat Reno and he runs away, and then Rude just calmly looks at his watch and then turns around and just
Yeah.
walks away.
Yep.
Oh, I'm late.
Yeah, he's just like, well,
So they drop something.
fairy tale.
Yep.
Yeah,
They drop the fairy tail, which is a very strong weapon for Aerith.
Yeah, which is crazy because she keeps getting like high attack power weapons
Yeah.
for somebody who like has the innate kind of stats as like a mage, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting.
Someone
Which
who,
I
like, when you
appreciate.
first have her in your party, she's in the back row, so it's kind of showing you, like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, she's more for, like, healing and not so much for, like, dishing out attack power.
Yeah, well, that was pretty interesting. And I guess that like they might be doing that so that like, okay, this way we can keep a back row character viable,
Yeah.
who has non-long range weapons. But F that, front row,
Yeah, seriously.
dishing out the HPs. And yeah, so like there's a little foreshadowing that happens right after this
Yep.
after this fight. So I had Yuffie in my party, and she says, "I don't like this. It's like the whole world knows where we're going."
Nice.
And Cloud says, "They followed us, but there weren't any signs of it. That means," and then Eris chimes in, "that there's a Shinra spy." And so we start getting this idea that like, there's something going on. Like the reason that Shinra keeps finding us everywhere we seem to go is somebody might be feeding information to them.
Yeah.
So like, what a good
Who's the rat?
What a twist.
Yeah, and I think depending on who you have in your party, everyone kind of has different dialogue.
Right.
It's like Reservoir Dogs.
And then I like it. Cloud's just like, I'm not going to be suspicious. I trust everybody in our party.
Yeah.
Whatever,
Exactly.
Which I feel like is a very like a good like mature way to handle that. I feel like,
Yeah.
even though like it
Yeah,
could
yeah, for
obviously,
sure.
yeah, even though it's gonna like could bite us in the butt, right?
It doesn't
Like,
go full Departed where it's just like, I'm not the fucking rat.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
read-
He like avoids that situation.
I read it really weird when I said I trust everyone, like just how naive he is. Like I trust everyone, even someone I just met.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I read it in the voice of the cigarette smoking man from X-Files, because there's this one episode where like it's in the past and like it's him when he's younger.
Yeah.
I forget who he's talking to, but the person's like, "Oh, we can trust you, right?" And he's like, "You can trust all of us." And he says that, and that like starts that whole like arc of the season where it's like trust no one and stuff.
Okay,
and
okay.
I just anytime I like when I hear like that's just so ingrained in my memory, because like you don't realize that it's him until you hear his actual voice, because he's got such a recognizable voice.
I've never seen any of the X-Files. So.
And I'll say that even like transcends like shows, because I was watching that Chilling Tales of Sabrina or whatever it's called on Netflix, and he's in the last season, and he was talking, and I was like, I don't recognize that actor, but I know him from his voice. And I looked it up, I was like, it's the fucking cigarette smoking man.
That's awesome. So after we do this fight and we have our little spy talk,
Yeah.
we kind of have a choice of directions to go. Go
It
ahead.
was just really funny because I'm looking at the script. If you have Kate Sith in your party, it's like, you don't think there's a spy, do you, Cloud? I hate this. Now everyone's gonna blame me because I'm new.
Everyone's gonna blame the new guy.
That's so good. That's how
I always
felt.
thought this was a really awesome, like, plot point or plot twist or whatever, because it's like you're already worried about so much shit. in the
I
game.
know.
Yeah, it's like just more shit to worry about.
Yeah.
And thus far we haven't had any reason to doubt any of our party members. Like we've been with them for a good
yeah, it's
portion,
like-
you know?
Except for Yuffie, who's like always stealing.
Yeah,
shit.
that's fair.
like every chance.
I guess that's a good point. Yeah.
It's like, oh, she's
assuming that you fucking found Yuffie. Remember, she's a optional character.
True,
Yeah,
that's
it's
true. Yeah.
Yep,
But
you're
it
right.
just reminds me of like Costa del Sol, where she's like, oh, she's working a job. She's like doing a party.
Yeah,
And the
then
guy's
she
like,
steals all that
stole
guy's
everything. Love it.
So good. So I went north next because I wanted to go
Yeah,
to the
same.
reactor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's an enemy called the heavy tank. And
Oh, I
like,
love that thing.
Yo,
Oh, yeah.
It's sick. It is a triceratops. Or wait, I guess it only has 2 horns. It looks like a triceratops.
It's like a tank triceratops.
Yeah, but it has
Yeah.
like giant, super muscly arms, and its body is a fucking motorcycle.
Hell yeah.
What?
Hell yeah.
This
That-
looks like
or I
it's-
guess it's like a tri.
No, it's
one of
got
those
like
three-wheeled
it's got like
motorcycles.
tank legs, doesn't it?
Oh, does
Yeah,
it
I
have treads?
think it has-
Oh, you're right. I'm
yeah.
sorry. My angle that I'm looking at it's like really ridiculous. But yes, it has tank treads. What the fuck? That's incredible. Oh, it has
Hell yeah.
exhausts too on the back. Like it's like
This is such a 90s toy. I love
Yeah,
this.
it looks a lot like if like Sid from Toy Story took like Baby Bop or whatever from
Yeah.
Barney and like put it on a tank or something.
I have
Sid
not
would do
thought
that.
about Baby Bop, and I don't know.
I don't
how
know
long.
why. Like I completely forgot that was a thing, and then like I saw this like character and I was like, oh yeah, didn't Barney have a friend who kind of looked like that?
It was like half tank and half triceratops.
I
God,
just-
it's so
yeah.
fucking cool.
I just want to see somebody fucking cosplay as that thing.
Oh, that would
Oh
be
my
awesome.
god! Okay, I'm gonna start working on it. that would be fucking amazing. I would lose my shit.
Like
That's all-
10 people at the most would know
Right.
what it is.
Oh, I was just thinking very clever use of like a wheelchair or something, or like,
Hell yeah.
God, dude, it's so rad. But
or,
like,
you have
it,
those hoverboards so you can just like tilt forward
Yeah.
and like.
it also it has a shit ton of HP. It has like over
Yeah.
2,000
It's,
HP.
I think it's like
1600.
1600.
Oh,
yeah.
1600, yeah. And like you do like 100 about to
Yeah.
it, or at least where I was. And like it can hit all 3 of your party members for like a good third or half of their HP with its fucking like peel out or what.
Spiral move or whatever. the
Yeah,
hell it's
yeah.
called.
It like drives over you and like peels out and run over.
And I think it does that a couple of times in a row. Like it'll do that and then do
yeah,
that again. And
it's
then
a
do it
real
again.
asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I put this for like so I'm looking through my notes, my pictures on my Switch or whatever,
Yep.
and I actually have a picture after this picture of the heavy tank
Yeah.
of the fight with Rude and Reno. The other thing I forgot is that Rude can actually cast fire, and when I put Eris in the party, I was like, she doesn't have an accessory. I guess I'm just gonna throw the fire ring
Yep.
on there and like, yo, blocked it every time. Yes. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, so going north, where we fight the heavy tank at, we kind of get like this shot of us leaving the jungle into like a clearing, and like it's like a I was gonna say a bad clearing. It's like there's like no life, right?
Yeah.
It's a real shitty clearing.
A real shit clearing, and we're going to a ruined Maka reactor. It's fallen over. It's completely in disrepair. It's just garbage everywhere.
Yeah, this is
right?
the weird structure that you could see from the world map in the center of the jungle.
Yeah.
It's almost like a crater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Alex, how much? So you had to do the fight if you saw Gongaga, right? Or-
Yeah.
Okay.
I did the fight, and then I went to the reactor.
Okay. So
But
you
I didn't
saw
go to
the
the
scene?
town.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw the scene.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, when we walk up to it, the camera pans downward. Like once we get to the middle of the reactor, the camera pans downward, and we see that fucking helicopter, that Shinra helicopter, come in, and it has Sang and Scarlet on it, right? And I like that Scarlet's getting her airtime right now. We got her in the Corel background, and then here she is right here, whatever. But she walks up to it. She walks up to the reactor and is like,
You kind of see her and like run off and hide. And
yeah.
Duck off in the corner, and then like so they keep walking. Scarlet's walking ahead, and then Sang is walking behind her. And Sang kind of stops, and Scarlet keeps continuing like towards you. You're kind of in like a dead end, and I was like, oh shit, they're gonna see us. And then she just stops and starts talking.
Right. And she's kind of, I guess she's talking to Sang, but she says, this one isn't good either. You only get junky materia from junky reactors. This one's a failure.
Yeah.
And then like a good line. What I'm looking for is a big, large, huge, capital H, huge materia. You seen any? And like, I like that big and large are lowercase and huge is uppercase.
Some kind of big materia, but didn't that guy in that cave talk about something similar?
That sounds like
gravy.
That sounds like an opening line on Tinder, honestly. Like, what I'm looking for is big, large, huge materia. You seen any?
That is a really good line.
Someone should make a Scarlet account.
Yeah, anyone who are single listeners, make a make a Tinder and make that your profile. And I like that Sang's response is just, no, I haven't seen it. I'll get on that right away.
I feel like he's always doing that. He's just like, yeah, I'll take care of it.
Yeah, right. And like, I like that they're so like cordial with each other, where she's like, I need this, and he's like, okay, and then like the next line is like, please. wait, she says please. Like we could make the ultimate weapon if only we had some.
Yeah,
like no like evil villain speeches, just like, I would really enjoy that.
Yeah.
We could make like a death ray.
She's living up to her Shinra title of head of weapons development.
Yeah. And Sang's response, like, I just can't wait. Can't
wait for that super
They're
weapon.
so dry with each other. I love it.
Yeah.
God. Oh. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah. So, and she mentions that now that Hojo's gone, the weapon development department has been getting like a bigger budget.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
And Sang says, "I envy them."
Yep. And this is the line where she says, even if we make the perfect weapon, could that stupid Heidegger even use it? Oh, sorry, I forgot Heidegger was your boss.
Yeah.
Which I did not know.
Yeah.
Have we
I
heard
don't
that
think
yet? Yeah.
I don't think it mentions that.
I
like,
don't.
the actual hierarchy of the Shinra Corporation.
Right, because I guess I always imagined the Turks as like a contractor.
Yeah, you wouldn't
Like,
think of them as like.
They're muscle, or are they like kind of private security or something like that, maybe?
But I guess they're right there.
Yeah.
Heidegger's their boss.
Yep.
So,
All right.
and then they leave.
So yeah, he will not talk shit on his boss.
Yeah,
He's got some undercover boss vibes going here. He's like, I'm not going to talk shit on my boss, even though I want to. 'Cause I don't need HR breathing down my neck again.
But they
Hey, a real slight detour. What do you guys feel about the voice actor for Heidegger on the new Final Fantasy VII remake trailer?
I haven't heard it.
You guys-
I don't think I've seen it.
It's not like.
Oh,
super
no, I
new.
have heard
It was
it.
the one that was that dropped at E3, I believe.
Oh,
He's just kind of like gravelly and plain, isn't he?
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
he's not all goofy, and
Yeah.
I guess they had to like make it a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, I will say like
But,
I'm not one of these individuals who's like, oh, they're gonna ruin it or something like that. Like
No,
that's not me. But at the same time,
Listen
like
to the one episode, Curtis.
yeah, but at the same time, like as we're playing through the game, like the thing I've been like noticing like over and over and over is this game is really witty and like very silly and like it has like a lot of serious material, but like this game is just goofy all the way. They are just like, because like a lot of the material is really heavy, right? Like we're talking about like genocide and corporate fucking wars and all that kind of stuff. So like
gun
I kind of feel
violence
like
and suicide. And,
yeah. So I kind of feel like one of the ways they make that like the gameplay a little smoother or whatever.
They make it less depressing.
Yeah, is they constantly give you levity like between the characters, right?
Yeah.
And so like I will say that is that like I doubt that they will do that with the remake. It'll probably be a super.
I hope it's not just like a full gritty reboot.
I bet it'll be gritty. I bet it'll be a gritty reboot.
I think so too.
Yeah, because like like
you don't think they're gonna do any of the lighthearted stuff?
if they do, I bet it'll be in like kind of a wink and a nod way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which like whatever. Again, I'm not here to hate on it. I'm gonna play the crap out of it. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Problem is
Plus,
if they make
this game is not going anywhere.
Yeah,
Gonna
exactly.
take it
Exactly.
It's great and it's on the Switch. Like,
Yep.
you know, like, yeah.
I was saying it would be a problem if because if what I feel like they do is like lean into kind of how campy it can be.
Yeah.
But then it's just gonna make fans just be pissed off that they're like making a mockery of it.
Yeah, they'll be like, it's been Disney-fied.
Yeah, yeah. Which, like, that's the thing is, like, as we're playing it, we're like, oh, wait, it really was like that. Like, it really is goofy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Here, put it this way. If there's not a man freaking out, going over a waterfall in a kayak, 0 out of 10. But I'm out.
My only like real life comparison I can think of Heidegger where he just like goes on punching rampages. There's this show Letterkenny where there's like a guy who owns like
Hell yeah.
where it's just like every time like he's the owner of like the hockey team and every time he gets pissed off he has to find a trash can to kick. Give me a trash can, like just kicks it even though they're in the middle of a golf course someone finds him a trash can.
Fucking love Letterkenny so much.
But that's kind of how I think of Heidegger in this way. He was just like, every single time he's like, it's fucking embarrassing. Just every interaction with him.
So Scarlet and Heidegger leave. They
They get back in their helicopter.
on the heli, and like and I think Cloud say
He
Yeah.
kind of just reiterates about the huge materia.
big, large, capital H, huge materia.
Capital H, capital M.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, God, I love that. That's,
Yeah. And it says an ultimate weapon, the perfect weapon.
The next time we
Just
have
what
like
are the Shinra up to?
the next time we have a podcast that goes long, it's like 2.5 hours. We'll be like, whoa, watch out! This one's a big, large, capital H,
Huge podcast.
Yeah, podcast.
Huge wave file.
That's gonna be the name of the episode, isn't it?
Yeah, yo, I don't know how he does it. Alex comes up with the best fucking names for the
Yeah.
podcast. He's like, pull back the curtain. I don't think Carl and I have ever come up with an episode
No.
name.
No, I have one that I want to name way down the road.
Oh yeah, you pitched one, yeah.
But I feel like it has to, but we won't talk about that yet.
Okay, all right.
But
So good.
I'm excited about it. But did you get the...
I did.
Okay, did you get the...
The what?
There's a hidden materia here?
The Titan one? I actually do not remember. I think
So
I did.
the thing is, don't even sweat it because it's not visible right now. And later, when you come back on like disc 2 or 3, it is visible.
It's visible.
So I think that you weren't even meant to be able to get it yet. I think they just like disabled the image.
Yeah.
Oh, I think cutting in, Justin just sent me the video of the remake and timestamp of where we can listen to Heidegger.
Oh, sweet.
Do we want to do it?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's drop it in.
Yeah. Sewer rats.
These sewer rats appear to call themselves Avalanche, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, that voice actor is totally in Metal Gear Rising. I recognize that voice.
Really?
I don't know who it is.
It's nano machines,
So
son.
doesn't Wedge have a really weird voice too, where he's like, "We're doing this for the planet"? Or did
That
I-
scene, that
You're thinking of
that
Mickey
tracks
Mouse.
with my Yo, Mickey Mouse's voice tracks with my idea of a wedge,
Is
so
that-
I'm
is-
all right with that.
Is that something that I dreamt, or
I hope
like I
it's
haven't
true.
watched the trailer in a very long time, but I feel like when I first saw the trailer, I was like, "Is that really his voice?"
I hope it is.
I hope it is.
Because that like tracks with my idea of wedge.
Yeah.
He's a real goof, yeah. But yeah, so like we were saying though, the Titan summons here, and another reason that I think that it probably like they meant for you not to get it here and just turn off the image instead as their way of just being like, oh, don't let them get it here, is because it is strong as heck.
Oh yeah.
Like you can ruin everything for the
Yeah.
next like while in this game, like
Yeah,
up to like
it's
when we
awesome.
get Sid. Yeah, we can just truck like bosses. You can just truck through
Yeah.
them with Titan. So
Yeah.
like every time I was just like, this battle's gonna take a little long, or like, ooh, I'm on like the losing end a little bit. I'll just like, whip out Titan, and it's just like, oh, win,
Yeah.
sick.
I also like its like thematic placement here. Like I might be reading into it too much,
Yeah.
but it's Titan, and the move that it uses when you summon it is I think it's like Fury of the Planet.
It's where it fucking flips the earth or whatever.
Yeah, it like I actually got some like notes about the development of it and stuff.
Sure.
And the developer who like was in charge of the actual like battle mechanics and stuff
Yeah.
said mentioned that Titan as his favorite summon in the game due to the effort it took to create his summoning animation. While storyboarding the sequences, had dictated that Titan should flip the ground the enemies were on by peeling off a slab of the land. At first, Titan was programmed to come in on normal ground and flip the same slab of ground no matter what the current terrain, but they deemed that it looked boring and worked to include the battlefield textures in the animation.
Whoa.
So they were like, yeah, it looks boring if we go the easy way. Like, let's just make it like no matter what terrain you're on, it will flip that.
Flips that one. That's awesome.
And I think like thematically it works because you find this in the ruins of an old like Mako reactor, and it's like the fury of the land.
Yeah,
and it's like the land getting revenge.
I guess that makes sense because like it's probably the only one we found in a Mako reactor thus far.
Yeah.
So that does make a lot of sense. I think you're right about that.
Yeah, and so apparently this was also supposed to be available in Calm in a treasure chest there, and the chest is still there. It's just empty.
Is that chest?
Yeah. So I was trying to look back at my old notes and see if we talked about that chest.
Yeah.
I think we did,
We
but
did.
I didn't see it in my old notes. But
Wild.
yeah,
How about
it was scrapped, and it was moved likely for the purposes of the traveling salesman who was intended to appear in Gongaga village, where he hints at the existence of Titan.
Oh wow.
So-
All right. That's interesting.
Kind of cool little tidbit about like a kind of almost missable summon.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. So Alex, this is where you peeled out, right? And went to Cosmo Canyon.
Yeah, I think I just accidentally found myself out. I'm like, I guess I'll
Yeah.
keep going.
Which, like, again,
It's super easy to do that because you
Yeah.
kind of just like.
and if you've
leave.
done that scene,
Yeah.
It feels
'cause
like I've done everything there
Yeah.
is to do here because this is what.
Yeah,
you
you're like,
can
oh,
see,
Yeah.
the Gongaga area, like, yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
what it looks like from outside. So.
not only that, but as we're getting ready to see, the one place where there's actually like plot line coming up is also super missable. Like it's
Yep.
you can't even tell that you can go there.
Yeah.
It doesn't even go there. That one didn't track as well. So if we go over to from where we fought Reno and Rude, if we go to the left instead, we get to another screen that looks very similar. And there's a materia there on the ground.
Yep.
Death blow.
Death blow.
Hit him with the death blow.
So
that's a
fucking
cool
good.
Mo D song. It's a great cool Mo D song.
Hell yeah.
I gave that to Barrett.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I gave it to Tifa.
What do either of you guys know the actual science behind how it works? Because I don't.
I don't know the. I think it just
I
like
fucking-
guarantees a crit.
I
Guarantees a
read
crit.
it recently, but I've already forgot. What the
I know
hell?
that in the speed run, the way they use it is
Google death blow while we.
they have Tifa in like critical health and something with her like one of her weapons I think
Yeah.
like boosts the maximum attack, and then when you also pair that with death blow she can just dish out like
Oh.
maximum damage like constantly. So she's
yeah.
pretty much just like what they use in the speed run because they're like under leveled throughout it, but
Right,
they just use
right.
her to fucking beat the shit out of things.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it
that's
kicks
really
ass.
cool.
It raises luck by 1.
Ooh.
Fuck yeah.
The accuracy of death blow is 1/3 of a normal attack, but if it connects, the attack will always deal critical damage.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
It
cool.
deals the same damage as from the back row as from the front row.
Oh, that's
Oh, sweet.
interesting. I
So
didn't know that
that's
either.
you could even do like like use that as like a long range materia.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
And there are ways I think to increase the chances used by pairing it with other things. Or
Cool. So from
Really
there,
good materia.
Yeah, and from there,
But
because
ain't
like
big enough.
there's a left exit to the screen and a north exit to the screen that both are nondescript. And if you take the left one, you're just back out on the world map again. So like more just reasons that you would just walk through it, right? But if you do go to the north one, you walk into like a little town. So this is the town of Gongaga, and it's just one screen.
Yeah.
And as soon as you walk in, the very first thing you see when you walk in on the left is just like a graveyard, like a small little graveyard.
Yeah, there's like 5 graves, 2 people in the graveyard, just like mourning their loved ones that they're visiting in the graveyard.
Yeah.
It's also playing the Heart of Anxiety theme again, just to
Yeah.
kind of really hammer home how, things aren't great here.
Yeah, and then they
Yeah.
say that the reason these people died is because of a reactor explosion 3
Yeah.
years ago.
Yep.
Which we've seen the remains of.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the last time
Yeah.
we heard the Heart of Anxiety song was, I believe, the Nibelheim flashback,
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
definitely in there.
right?
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense if you finish the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Oh
absol-
god, yeah.
absolutely.
Oh yeah, okay.
Um,
yeah.
good-
I didn't want to spoil.
No, yeah. So
Um,
this is what I'm interested in because like I'm kind of happy that Alex didn't do this one so that he can like hear it
Yeah.
here on the podcast
Dude, I am
or whatever.
so happy that Alex has never beat this game.
Okay.
Um,
So
I'm like
go.
it like makes me look forward to future episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. Yeah. So, and you can talk to the people in the graveyard, and they kind of just give you more like dialogue about it and just their views on the Shinra. Like the one lady who's like there mourning her husband who was lost in the explosion says like, do people really need the reactors to live? Aren't there more important things in life?
Right.
And the old woman or old man who's at the grave has really sad line where they say, no matter how much I pray, it won't bring our grandson back.
God. Yeah. So, as per usual, Shinra is sowing happiness and peace throughout the land.
Yep. Making everyone's lives better, like they promised.
Yep, absolutely.
I think you're actually supposed to come here before you go to the reactor.
Probably so,
because when you walk in, Cloud like
the screen pans up.
Yeah, and Cloud it shows the reactor off in the distance, and Cloud says a ruined reactor,
which is weird though, because like it does seem like you would want to come here first, and then he would notice the reactor and you'd go out to it. However, this is the screen furthest from the entrance.
It's so much harder to get to. Like I definitely went to the reactor first and did all of that, and I was like, oh shit.
Dude, I think the first time I played it, I didn't go to Gongaga at all. Yeah, if I remember right, because
it's also like it's kind of just like a run of the mill town. Like they have good.
Well, it looks like
here.
from the outside of it. I think I was like, oh, that's a dungeon. I'm not trying to go.
Yeah,
to a dungeon
exactly.
Right
yeah, it's very intimidating.
Yeah.
But like also in terms of like dialogue, like most of the NPCs here, like most of the shopkeepers, they all have the same exact lines.
Yeah, they do.
They like cycle through like 3 of them.
Yep.
And it's all just more talking about the explosion.
Yep.
And
now there's some new materia we can buy here though.
There is.
Yes, time.
And Mystify.
Oh man, so okay, we can talk about Mystify. What does Mystify do?
Mystify uses
I think it causes a confusion spell or something like that.
Yeah,
confusion. Right?
Yeah, it does the confusion, the confu spell, and also berserk.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
but
it's probably my least used materia.
Yeah.
Oh man, what is? Yeah, probably. I didn't even buy it. I was just like, eh.
I hate confusion in games because I feel like it's always like, 50-50 shot of you hurting yourself or whatever, or the enemy hurting themselves.
Yeah.
And I feel like every time I play a game,
I'm not gambling on that.
It hits me like 90% of the time, and like
the enemy none.
Like 5% of the time.
Yeah.
However, that time materia is a fucking keeper.
Must
time materia. Yo, time and an all materia. What?
Oh, yeah.
That is the combination. So you can learn haste from this materia.
I think just instantly, right?
Yes, that's the first.
I think the first one you have is haste, which is...
They get slow and stop, I think, of the other two.
First
yeah, so it goes, I think, haste, slow, and stop. And like slow and stop, I could take or leave. You don't really need them.
Exactly.
But haste is like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is the point of the game for me that I actually started like the actual, I guess, utilization of like I have like a main attacker, a buffer, and a healer.
Oh, really?
Nice. Yeah, that's
because like this is the best spot to do it because like you said, if you throw that time materia in with an all,
my god,
you're just fucking devastating because
you
just
start
the battle with that and then
and that so like what it does is, if it's not kind of obvious from the name, is it just makes your ATB gauge just fill insanely fast.
I think it goes like twice as fast, right?
Yeah, it's super fast.
Yeah. It's just
yeah. So you're doing like 6-7 turns before the enemy gets one.
Yeah.
And like by 6-7 I mean like 1 or 2 with each character, but like you're just rolling damage out, and it doesn't last forever though. I will say that. Like it runs out like somewhat quickly, but man, for a second there though, you're just pumping damage or healing or whatever. You're just getting to operate a lot. Yeah. Although I guess if you're like playing on active and using the 3 times speed function on the Switch, you're just not going to be able to input commands fast enough to use it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just constant.
Yeah.
It looks like you can also use it to stop and slow enemies at higher levels, right?
Yeah. So once you level it up to different levels, you can get the different either slow or stop.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you can just cast slow on something and haste on your party and just like
oh man, just roll them. Yeah. So this town is pretty cool too because not all the houses, but most of the houses have like 2 floors to them, and you can like climb up a little like fireman pole.
Yeah, you have to like climb up a pole. Like the weapon shop is like up the pole from the item shop.
You know what I love about the weapon shop a lot is that like he doesn't have any drawers or a desk, and so all of the weapons and armor are just strewn about the floor. Yeah, and he's just like buy some shit from me. Yeah, he's just like sitting in a pile of stuff.
He's like sitting on like a skinned animal rug thing.
Yeah,
and like that looks like it's his bed, and like underneath it, like sticking out halfway from underneath it, is just like a giant like Zweihander sword or like a giant fucking claymore.
Yeah.
It's like he's just sleeping with that under his bed.
It's so good.
Like just in case, I guess.
Yep.
It reminds me of the studio that we're in right now.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's soundproofing, Alex. That's what it's. That's what the whole mess is for.
I also like this totally random detail that has nothing to do with anything.
And therefore has
And
everything
therefore
to do
I'm
with
going
everything.
to talk about it. That a lot of the men in town have like kind of spiky black hair.
Yeah, they do. I noticed that
Anyway.
actually. Yeah, they have like
Yeah.
spiky black hair that points backward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like Shadow the Hedgehog.
But
that's right.
just like Shadow the Hedgehog.
This is the origin story of Shadow the Hedgehog.
He's rolling around at the speed of sound.
We can find the white megaphone here for Kate Sith.
Yeah, and the weapon shop sells a lot of really good weapons that we've pretty much already seen because a lot of them you can steal from enemies. They have like a low steal rate, but like the diamond pin that we've talked about before, the mithril saber, stuff like that.
I didn't have the diamond pen, so I actually got it. I went ahead and bought it here because it had a pretty significant bump to Red's damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's good weapons here.
Yeah. So there's an obvious like 4 houses we can go into, and then there's a house that's like turned around.
Yeah, it's like
so you can't see the door of it. And like historically in the game, if a town has been facing away from the camera, that just means you can't go into it.
Yeah.
You just can't enter houses that you can't see the doorway for. This is like the one fucking exception in the whole game, and it's like a plot relevant house.
Yep.
So like,
Well, I had the little select thing on, so I could see.
Yeah, I play with that select thing on the
enough.
entire game.
Same
Because of shit like this.
Because
Okay.
that or like a green arrow that's like something that just looks like a background that you can suddenly climb for no reason.
Yeah.
all tree roots and caves. It's like it's indispensable when you're like in really weirdly rendered backgrounds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
But we go into this house.
yeah. So this is where I kind of like alluded to it earlier, but we brought different party members to this. So I brought Eris and you brought Tifa, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So I guess whenever the lines diverge, we'll just go like, hey, that's not what happened in my game.
Yeah.
So we go into this house and there's an old couple in there, right?
Couple of what?
Hang
Hot cha. Hang on. Yeah, so there's an old couple in there. Continue.
You deserve better than that.
Thank you.
So we go to this house. There's an old couple in there, and the old man. As soon as you walk in, so the splits out, right? Like there's gonna be some talking going on.
Yeah.
And the old man says, "Are you a traveler? Hey, wait, that glow in your eye. Are you in Soldier?" And then he says, "Oh, you're right. Don't you know anything about our son?" Which is a weird, weird phrasing.
All boys your age know each other.
Yeah. But it says, do you know our son? His name was Zach. It's the first time we've heard the name Zach in the game.
Yes.
So he says it's been close to 10 years since he left for the city, saying he didn't want to live in the country. He left saying he was going to join Soldier. Did you ever hear of a Zach in Soldier? And Cloud's like, I don't know. I don't think I did. You know, he's pretty quickly like, I don't think I did.
Yeah.
And so I had Eris, and she just says Zach ...
That's also what Tifa says.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And so does the grandpa say, "Young lady, do you know him?"
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And he says, "I remember he wrote to us 6 or 7 years ago saying he had a girlfriend. Could that have been you?" And what does Tifa say?
So Tifa says ... No, it wasn't.
Okay. Eris says, "That can't ... And so I guess that's where like the diverge is,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And then Eris runs out the door.
Tifa does the same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So that's like the end of the scene, but you can still talk to the older couple.
Like
and,
your other party members standing there.
Yeah. And the older woman says, "I can't believe he hasn't contacted us in 10 years. After all, we're his parents." And then so I went outside and I go talk to Eris. So what does Tifa say if you go talk to Tifa?
Sure. Also, friendly reminder: call your mom.
Call your mom. Call your mom.
Don't be like Zach. Call your mom.
Don't be like me. Call your mom.
Excuse me. Sorry. Okay. So so you go outside and Tifa's just kind of standing off in the distance, as I'm sure Aerith probably is. And you go up to her and she just says Zach ... And Cloud says, "Do you know him?" And she says, "No, I don't know him." And Cloud says, "Your face tells me differently." And she says, "I told you, I don't." And then
holy crap.
Cloud says, "All right." And she says ... And she says, That sounds just like you, leaving town and saying, I'm joining Soldier. Cloud says, there were a lot of guys like that back then. She said, you must have really been something to make it in Soldier out of a group like that. And then you can say, she says, I really respect you. And you can say, I just got lucky or I worked hard for it. So I said, I worked hard for it. And she says, hard work pays off, huh? Cloud, thanks for caring. And then she like joins you again.
Okay, all right. So if
you say I just got lucky, she says, don't be so humble.
Yeah.
Oh, so if you have Eris in the party, you run out and you talk to her, and she says, what a shock. I didn't know Zach was from this town. And Cloud asks, oh, do you know him? And she says, oh, didn't I tell you he was my first love? And like, so this is who she was talking about way back in like our second episode when we were at the park.
Yeah.
And she was
On
talking
top of
about
the
like,
slide.
yep. She was talking about falling in love with somebody from Soldier, and this is who it is.
Yeah.
So Cloud just has ellipses. He just says nothing. And
Awkward.
She goes, oh, Zach, Soldier first class, same as Cloud. And Cloud says, well, that's strange. There's not that many who made first class, and yet I've never heard of him. And she goes, well, that's all right. It's all in the past. I was just worried because I'd heard he was missing. And, Cloud's like, oh, missing. And she goes, oh, it was 5 years ago. He went out on a job and never came back. So everything seems to be happening 5 years ago.
I wonder if you have Kate Sith, if you can be like, yo, motherfucker, you said you're good at finding hidden people.
Yeah.
Time to step up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Shake that Moogle, bitch.
Yeah, shake that Moogle. But she goes, oh, he loved women. He was a real ladies' man. He probably found somebody else. I don't really mind that I haven't heard from him, but I feel for his parents. Hey, what's wrong? And you can say either, oh, poor guy, or parentheses, ... jealous, ... envious. And I was like,
holy shit.
Cloud, you fucker. Which I went ahead and said poor guy because I was like,
Yeah, you don't
I'm
wanna,
not a monster.
Yeah, you don't want to be a fucking
yeah.
asshole.
Yeah, and she's just like, oh, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And she joins you up again.
Yeah, and I don't think there's really too much else to talk about.
Not really.
Gongaga.
I mean, this adds on to, of course, the I guess, whatever the bonding system is, right? That
I think it might have something to do with that.
I'm looking at the walkthrough. It says, if you say you're jealous, you get like +2 to Eris.
Oh, shit.
Really?
But if you say poor guy, it's just +1.
Oh.
But if you ignore her, it gets -3. You can just not talk to her and like.
Oh, damn, that'd
blow
be
her
cold.
off.
So when I was actually playing it, this is where I went and did all of the other stuff on the rest of the world or whatever.
Yeah.
And one of the things I like that when you, so I should have talked about it earlier when we were running around in the dune buggy, but I'm just now looking at my pictures from that section of the game. So that's all I did in Gongaga. After that, I left. I actually picked up the death blow on the way out and left.
Yeah.
But when
Take
I got
your
back,
death blow and get the hell out.
Yeah. So a couple things I enjoy about running around the world though was one, when you get to Costa del Sol and you get back on the boat,
Yeah.
the sailor's like, "Oh, you want to be a stowaway again? No problem. $100 and I'll put in a good word for you." And
Yeah.
let you do it. And the other one was when you get off the boat, you talk to a soldier standing right next to it, and he's like, "Man, the economy sure has been booming. It must be that Rufus effect." And I was like, "The Rufus effect."
Yeah.
Fuck off. What in the
That
world?
sounds like a 90s alternative band.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
Rufus effect.
But yeah, so like I didn't mean to like diverge too much from
No, I
what we were
think
doing.
I think that's good.
But yeah, so this is like kind of obviously I'm not trying to spell it out or anything like that, but obviously we've kind of stumbled upon a couple major plot points in Gongaga, right?
Yeah.
Like the feasibility of Shinra getting information from us somehow and knowing where we're at, and this character Zach that was Eris's first boyfriend, or not necessarily first boyfriend. She says first love, and and someone who Tifa may have known. It looks very sketchy around the name, right?
Yeah.
So like it's kind of some yeah, it's kind of like I don't want to say a bomb yet, but it is like deepening the mystery.
Things are going on.
Yeah.
Weird things are going on.
Yeah. What about you, Justin? What do you think?
It's funny that like this part of the game, like you said, is just completely missable.
Yeah,
It's nuts. This
bunch
is
of
like
different
You know,
parts.
and it's like you said, it's like pretty crucial stuff to really grasp or to really advance the story.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, if I recall correctly, the resolution to this specific side quest piece of plot is also entirely optional on the third disc.
Yeah.
You don't even have to
Yeah.
resolve it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
yeah.
so that shit, I don't want to like spoil it, but that
I
part
know.
that you just talked about is like they really expanded on that in Crisis Core.
Yeah, I
Cool.
bet. Yeah. And that,
Like-
we've been debating like whether
We'll
or not
get
we
to
want
it.
to do it.
We'll
Do we
get-
want to do
This
it?
is
I
every
think so.
F and FF.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
right
you're
there
right.
in the
It's
title.
every FNFF. You're right.
Yeah, this is our cross to bear.
We eventually will do our Mystery Science Theater Advent Children.
For the listener, I'm also sitting on a weird book that I found in Barnes and Noble a couple of weeks ago that I thought was a manga, and it's called like Final Fantasy VII. I was like, oh shit, they got Final Fantasy VII
It's
manga
called The
now?
Boys Are All Right, right?
Yeah, it's called The Boys Are All Right.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
right.
the Turk side of the story. And like I picked it up because I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna do this. So like I think I alluded to it a little bit on the last episode when we were talking with Corey because he was
Yeah.
like, oh, the wells run deep, the lore wells run deep, and I was like, dude, you have no fucking idea how deep these wells go. And I haven't read it yet, but
My wells bring all the boys to the yard.
I was like, oh, I didn't even check out like the artwork in this. I've only looked on the cover, and I opened it up, and it's just a full ass like novel.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not even a manga. Like we're like.
So this is going to become an actual book club podcast.
Yeah.
Dude, I so want to read that. I never knew that was the thing.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of like I kind of want to get a copy of it now and like
So
read it too.
I
I'm
did.
sure it's on Amazon, like for
Yeah.
Kindle or something like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it takes place after the events of Final Fantasy VII. So
Okay.
I'm not for sure on that, but it kind of like when I read like the back of it, it talks about events that happen. Like in the first line, it's like after something happened, which is like the events of this game.
Yeah.
So
All right, fair enough.
Well, maybe we'll make like a bonus episode
Yeah.
or something for that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Wow.
So yeah, I would say this is probably where we're going to cut it for today.
yeah.
The next episode is going to be Cosmo Canyon. Alex is ready to go. You ready?
Yeah,
Here we
excited
go.
to play
Okay,
through
so we
that.
walk into Cosmo Canyon.
Go.
yeah, you're going to carry us the whole way. It's a just you show. now. That's all right. You're
We
all
hear another name in the next episode for the first time.
I forget.
Is it a name or a proper noun? What are we thinking?
Is a name
Is it a name?
You get to hear that song that
that I fucked up the baseline for.
What's the first letter?
N.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we do get to hear a name. You're
Yeah.
right. I was thinking like a new character. I was like,
No.
like Bugenhagen,
Bugenhagen, yes. I'm excited to talk about Bugenhagen.
which I am going to pronounce Bugenhagen.
That's fine. It'll be the first time we've ever pronounced anything
I
differently
know.
on this podcast.
No, you know what? I'm just going to say this right now. I appreciate that.
Me too.
Without missing a beat, we just say Eris and Aerith. we just do it, and we don't fight each other.
I feel like there's
We
been a
just do
couple
our
of
thing.
times where I said Eris and then it was like, just move past it.
Yeah.
it's the Sicilian pronunciation.
I was really glad that you guys pointed that out. I think it was the first episode. They're like, "Yo, we're gonna be going back and forth on this shit."
Yeah.
Yeah.
On like, and I was like so glad because I do the same thing. Like
Yeah.
I literally like say Aerith and Ares like in the same sentence. Like I'll say
Yeah.
both names.
And
you
it's
know?
not like M. Night Shyamalan's like Last Airbender where he's just like, I think that character that everyone knows and loves from 3 seasons of a very popular cartoon show named Aang, we're just gonna call him Aang. And Sokka is Sokka. Like it's not like that. It's like we all like played these games and just read the names and like
Yeah, right.
I mean Aerith is kind of doesn't really work in that sense, but whatever.
right.
Weird.
Yeah, so anything else we want to do?
Justin, what can you tell us about the? You have a new album coming out soon that is Final Fantasy VII themed. I hear.
Yeah, so
I'm
we
acting really
we
coy.
actually took like some fan like polls as to like the direction.
I remember
of the
I
next
voted
album
on it.
to kind of and just like to kind of see what kind of album the fans wanted to hear, and it was right around the time of when like the remake trailer dropped, and they also announced that like the FF8 remaster was going to be coming out soon. Also, so we did some polls, and the FF7 theme like just edged the FF8 album concept. So yeah, we're doing an entire album of Final Fantasy VII. Actually, just finished writing it like last week. So now we just got to do a lot of tweaking, add some layering to the arrangements, and record it. And we're hoping to have it out sometime before the remake comes out. So we're eyeing like late January, early February, something like
Awesome.
that.
Hell yeah.
That's super exciting.
Are there any like particular songs that you may like you find yourself particularly really fond of that to adapt?
We're finally doing One Winged Angel,
Yeah, boy.
which was like
The big
by
one.
far
Yeah.
the most requested song of ours.
Yo, I will say,
it used to be that and Dancing Mad, and we did Dancing Mad.
Oh,
yeah.
last album. So
I will say this. I know that like it's a thing that you guys have already done, but I've seen you guys live probably 5 or 6 times in different areas, and I love whenever you guys do the motorcycle chase. Like, God, that rips so hard.
Yeah, we kind of like, that's one of those where we decided like as soon as that song was written, we're like, well, this is never leaving the set.
Yeah, just like that. They like not even like it's not a breakdown necessarily, but just when like the real sparse chugs come in, the dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
dun,
yeah.
like, God. Like,
Yeah,
because I'm
it's,
always up front at MagFest, and I'm always like, well, I need to get off to the side now. I'm an old man, and the carnage is getting ready to ensue down here.
You're gonna get
Those
sideswiped by a
brutal,
guy on a motorcycle.
the brutal MagFest mosh pits.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna heavy tank sideswipe me down there, do all my HP and damage.
Yeah, so the other cool thing about the album is that, well, we are re-recording a few old songs if we feel that they're necessary. So the idea of the new album, I haven't really talked about this with anyone really except for my bandmates.
Exclusive.
Is that basically the idea of the album is that it's supposed to be a retelling of the story via music. So
Ooh.
it's gonna start with the opening in Bombing Mission
Yes.
track, and then it's gonna go into the Mako reactor music and kind of go through the events,
Love
of
it.
the game in the order that you heard them while playing the game.
That's so
That's so
badass.
good.
That's
so yeah, so like once you leave Midgar, that's when you first hear like the main theme, and then you hear the music in like Calm Town, and then so on and so forth.
That's awesome because
man.
like I feel like a lesser band would have put like the main theme first or whatever, but like no, that's the right way to do
Yeah.
it.
Hell yeah.
That's the right way to do it.
Like a few albums ago, we started toying with the idea of like concept albums or concept releases, and it's just been like so fun to take like this niche, silly video game metal band and try to do really serious and cool and fun things while still just being a stupid metal video game band.
That's awesome.
So you guys, being that you're all god gamers, you're not going to cover the Game Over theme ever?
You guys got to do the loco weed sound effect.
Any Chocobo theme medley would be really cool.
Yeah, Arm Cannon did the Chocobo music so good.
Yeah.
Really,
And
that's
it's
awesome.
just like, fuck, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I always said that I would never do Dancing Mad or One Winged Angel, and I've done them both. So who knows?
That's awesome. Well, that's really cool, man.
I want the record to show that on June 18th of this year, I messaged you on Instagram and said, full album, 100% FF7. So many bangers on that OST. I think that was when
Yes,
you were
I
running the
remember.
poll, and I was just like, yes.
Oh, and I think, Carl, I think you responded too when, because I've been like,
That was
sort
fun,
of, of like teasing like some of the new songs.
Yeah.
And there was a tease of Cry of the Planet.
Yep.
And I think you responded with a bunch of like crying emojis.
Is that I did?
He's showing us right now. Yeah.
I love that.
That's
I love
so
that track
good.
so much.
That is probably my favorite track on the album.
Me too.
I can't wait for everybody to hear this shit. I'm so excited.
I'm very excited to hear it.
Man,
Yeah.
so yeah, anything else you want to promote while you got our booming stage?
Yeah. While you have
The
the
soapbox is
whole
all
world that
yours.
listens to our,
all
podcast.
things considered, you're probably giving us more promotion than we're.
No, just
All things
you know,
considered is on here.
No.
if you're not, already following us, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. KOTR Metal is the tag pretty much everywhere.
Check
And,
the description for all those links.
Yeah, and just stay tuned for more album news. If anybody listening is in the Seattle area, we're going to be playing PAX, as mentioned earlier. That's it'll be in like a week or so after this
Right.
episode comes out. But we're also playing Nashville September 6th at the High Watt, and then taking the rest of the year off to record this new album.
All
and
right.
then next year we already got some pretty cool stuff lined up. But
Hell yeah.
yeah, we'll unveil that stuff when we're allowed to.
Sweet.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah, man.
Thanks, man. We'll
So,
have to get
yeah.
Adam on also next to talk about that also.
Yeah, we could add him on as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah, for sure.
As soon as we started like talking about guests, like you and Adam, I think were like the first thing I thought of. Like, oh, they should totally be on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this week, instead of leaving us a 5-star review, go buy Night of the Round records.
Yep.
That would be a lot better.
Leave
Absolutely.
them a 5-star review and tell them if it's
Tell them what
Aerith.
is it Aerith or Aerith and what Sephiroth smells like. Go to their Bandcamp, put them as one of your recommended albums, and then write a little review telling them what Sephiroth
say
smells like.
your favorite track, and then in the description of why it's your favorite track, tell them what Sephiroth smells like.
Right. Well, Justin, thank you so much for being on, man.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been fun.
Awesome. Well, I'll see y'all later.
Thanks so much.
That shreds.
That's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's fucking,
Oh
that's
my
fucking
god,
dope
that's
as
so
fuck.
good.
You get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Fuck yeah.
dude. As I was like putting these songs together, I was just like, God damn! Like this soundtrack is like really fucking depressing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's super
Even
fucking
like the
dark.
happy songs are like depressing.
I know.
Yeah,
That's why I think when we first left Midgar, we talked about. Wait, did we talk about the theme?
I thought you
I
said
think
big,
so.
big guard.
When we left Midgar.
I think we did because like the recurring little melody that plays like throughout all of
Yeah,
it.
the first one's like meow 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 meow.
It's like hopeful and nice.
and
then
then
it's just like,
immediately
oh,
it just
anxious.
goes, yeah,
Now you're anxious.
and
Now
then
you're
more
nervous.
anxious, and then more
Yeah.
anxious, yeah.